Booyah! And howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome back to Sidetrack, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. You've got Stargate Outpost again today. It's a good one. We're talking SGU. And of course, we have Queen Lady Sarah hanging out with us over here.
Hello.
And look who's back. Look who's back. Matt. I'm bummed.
It's me. Sorry, I was sorting out my red bit.
Deciding what the mood lights look like for the day. Oh, good. No Jay. I need a new mask in here. Oh, good. Howdy, everybody. How's everybody doing? Y'all doing all right?
Someone called Icarus. Oh, that's lovely. Don't blow up on me.
You know? I think Sarah always understands the assignment a little bit better than the rest of us. We just try.
Of course. I'm the sausage party breaker. I know all.
The queen of the era. Howdy, Jeff. Howdy, Alex. Howdy, everybody. Of course, we're back. We're doing a little best and worst with Stargate episodes again. We've done SG1. We've done SGA. We've come up with what we at least believe are the best and worst episodes of each season of Stargate. So far, 15 frickin' seasons. There's only 2 left. This will be our 3rd charity stream. So in 2 weeks, of course, we'll be doing the SG1 charity stream, we'll discuss, we'll hang out, we'll watch the episodes from the SG1 stuff that we chose, the best and worst per season, and then so on and so forth. We'll do it again with SGA 2 weeks after that. 2 weeks after that, we got SGU. But we got to choose those today. Shall we jump ahead into it, y'all?
Yeah,
Sure.
I'm excited to see what you guys think are the best ones and which ones are the worst ones. Because I love Stargate Universe. So I'm curious to see which ones you hated, and if they line up with the ones I didn't like as much.
Yeah, no. This okay. Before we jump into it, it is a pretty dicey show in the way I guess we all remember it, and how people I guess tend to enjoy it or think about it. I still think people probably love it a lot more than they think they do. They just have to go back and watch it a few times. And I think you and I might be more on that level, Matt. Would you agree, Sarah? Are you a fan of SGU overall, or lesser of the 3?
Yeah, I like it. It's just, I think, season 2 is great. I mean, it's like it was starting to get so good, and it was just a real bummer that we didn't get a completion. There was just a lot of interesting stuff introduced that didn't get to be explored.
Yeah.
A lot. Literally, as you say, a lot of interesting stuff that was not explored was literally had a paraplegic Korean lesbian couple. And it was still pretty damn good. It was before its time and still managed to be a damn good story.
It was before its time. SG was ahead of its time.
Yeah.
That's still like one of my favorite videos I ever did on this channel.
It's still one of the ones that continues to get it's one of our most evergreen videos. I love it. Bob loved SU more before they went the Alien Threat of the Week format. But they were listening to the complaints of everybody else and kind of tried to bring it back in a little bit,
I kind of agree with that. I liked it more when it was less episodic. Okay. Because it felt more like series nowadays.
That's true.
I don't know. I'm saying nowadays. I'm gonna use Breaking Bad as an example, even though that's from like 10 years ago now. It's a very slow burn.
Yeah.
But everything kind of everything connects and everything makes sense in the end. And each episode you can watch on their own, but it's part of a whole, and that's what I think this first season of SGU was. And then they kind of went a little bit more episodic in season 2.
Mm-hmm.
I like this. I like season 2, but yeah, I did like. That's what I liked about season 1.
That season 1 has instead of a double episode intro, it's a triple episode intro, and then it's a double episode end. And I think there's 2 other arcs within that first season as well, and maybe just one other big one. But yeah, no, it's like that. It has a couple episodic, but
I think I would have probably preferred less of the in the first season. Less, because you got Air Part 1, 2, and 3, and then then what is it like? It's something, and then eventually time is the last one. But it's basically they just pick a resource and they don't have it. Oh, it's air, water, and then I think time.
Yeah.
Something like that. So they just pick a resource and they don't have it. I kind of wish they kind of not done as much of that. But,
That makes sense. So, I mean, that probably is going to be in our worst episode range. Some of those kind of resourcey heavy episodes. M is the new guy. Popcorn. I guess technically you'd be the new guy here because old Matt's been around for a while now.
Popcorn was here when I was here.
I was about to say,
the new guy.
I would think so. But yeah, no, Matt's been around. He's just been waiting for us.
It's not M. It's M with an at. Matt.
Yeah.
I just saw that and I just got that.
I got it right away. I was like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I've lost weight. Yeah, I've lost a bit of weight.
Hell yeah. Attaboy. Okay. Billy says season 1, episode 8, Time was his favorite. Okay. Best of SG1 was Time Loop. One of the best SGA was Penultimate Alternate Universe. One of the best episodes of SGU was Destiny First Flew into a Star. Damn right. SGU had the backlash following the cancellation of SGA, which was a major part of the issue. Totally.
Right.
So, all these issues at hand, we all know the story. MGM going under, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
We at least still think they managed to do a pretty damn good show.
Mm-hmm.
What would the best episode, in your opinion, be? How about Matt first? Because Sarah and I have been going at it for the last couple of weeks. Matt, give us your best episode for season 1 first.
I don't know. All right. Fucking worst person to pick. Right. I have two.
Okay.
So, the first one is Darkness, because it's the one where they're heading towards the sun or the star, and they don't know if they're going to live or die, and it just ends with them heading towards it. It's one of my favorites because you don't know what's going to happen. And when I first watched it, I was literally watching it going, oh shit, how the fuck are they going to get, how are they going to get out of that? It's literally a star. And it was just good. Watching it the second time around, and once you already know the twist kind of thing, it kind of loses its appeal. But watching it for the first time, it was hands down my favorite episode of the season. But then the second one is Faith, which is the one that introduces the planet builders.
Yeah, that's a good episode.
So you have so Darkness. Yeah, Darkness is. I can't remember what episode it is.
4, I believe, right? Yeah, 4.
Yeah. Yeah, Faith is the episode that they find the planet that's not meant to be there. There's not meant to be a sun. There's a star. There's not meant to be any planets or anything in there. And then they find a planet which is perfect for them. They find the spire, which is evidence of a intelligence beyond anything they've ever seen before, even greater than the ancients.
Yeah.
And it's my favorite because it introduces those beings, and we still don't know anything about them really. They came back in realistically 3 episodes.
Yeah, kind of.
Realistically.
You get 2 or 3 really good episodes about them in season 2, I think. And do they go back in season 1 at all, or that? It's kind of like
I don't know if it's season 1 or 2, but the people that stay behind,
when they get back
from Faith, their shuttle, because they give them their broken shuttle, don't they? That gets repaired and brought back to Destiny, and then they all of a sudden all start dying.
Yeah, that was season 2.
I think that's isn't it? Yeah.
That was kind of creepy, how they brought them back, and it's weird.
Yeah, everyone's got some health problems now. Doing just fine there.
They just all start freezing for no reason.
And disappearing babies. That too.
Yeah.
Planet builders are Jedi, apparently, just taking babies from people. So, yeah. Okay, Sarah. Give us what is your final answer? What is your best? I'm writing it down right here.
Well, I went with the final 2 episodes of the season, Incursion 1 and 2. I mean, I guess 2 is probably the better one, but that was my choice for best. We get the Lucian Alliance stuff, we get the brainwashing, we get some RDA,
That's
So,
true.
yeah.
2010 that came out, 14 years ago.
Yeah.
You said the trailer for season 1?
10 years ago it came out.
Oh, wow.
That episode aired 10 years ago. 14 years ago.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Or 14, sorry, I didn't mean. Yeah, 14 years ago.
Yeah, 6/11/2010. Good God. Wow.
So 13 years and 11 months.
Or excuse me, good planet builder. Not God in SGU, right? It's just a planet builder now. Yeah, okay. And Incursion's excellent because I may or may not have chosen Incursion Part 2 as well. But Incursion in general, it's the double episode.
Right.
It feels like the whole season's hit its stride. I actually really like the majority of season 1, like you, Matt. There's definitely some. I think the resource stuff the resource stuff and the Seeing Stones are the two biggest kind of like hang-ups on season 1. And I think I kind of my worst episode, and I kind of chose 2 to pick between on here. I think they kind of have elements of, all right, this would have been a great episode further on, but for those reasonings, they just didn't have the impact that they should have or could have. You may have already mentioned one of them. But the Incursions, I think both of those, everything just hit perfectly by that point. You're like, all right, this is a show. It didn't really feel like a show until these 2 episodes.
Right.
Pain and Space were kind of like my alternates, They're like, okay, I really like those. But yeah. Uh-oh. Well, now let's jump into worst, because I know there's going to be some interesting stuff here. Okay, before we decide.
Pain is the worst for me. I didn't like that episode. Yeah.
Okay. See, I thought it added good character development a lot. I like
Which
the
one was
aspects of
Pain?
Rush.
I see that.
Which one was Pain?
They start hallucinating their worst fears and stuff. What was the call?
Oh, my bad. I didn't mean to write Pain. I meant to write Sabotage.
I've written Pain as well.
Never mind. I would actually switch that. I totally meant to write Sabotage on that, not Pain. Because I like the character development of Rush and his girlfriend. What was her name again? Can't remember off the top of my head. Amanda. There we are.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I forget her last name.
Keep going.
Yeah.
So the worst episode is Pain. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that is the worst.
Yeah, I'm saying Pain, but my notes are literally Pain, and then I've just put in parentheses hallucinations, and my reasoning is I don't remember anything about it. It didn't make an impact, so it must have been boring.
Right. It just doesn't. It's just an episode. It doesn't move any arc. It doesn't. I forget what caused it. Like there was something in the water, or was it ticks? Was it the one?
It says the ship is plagued by hallucinations that manifest their fears and desires, and
I think it's the one with ticks. Let me see.
I think so. Well, the ticks, isn't that SG1 when they hallucinate kind of and have that whole thing going on? Because it reminded me like the worst version of that episode.
There is another episode with a tick-like thing that I have as one of my picks later on for season 2.
It's I don't like things with bugs. As we mentioned that in the SG1, there were several bug episodes that
So you did you not like the one in Atlantis with the Eratus bug?
No.
On what was he on Shepherd?
Yeah, it like strangles him when they try to remove it or whatever.
Yeah. They got some weird buggy episodes in Stargate. I think
what
honestly,
what about replicators?
Replicators? I don't know. Their replicators are okay. It's very, I don't know, Terminator-esque, I guess. Like AI trying to. Anyway,
it is an arc of truth.
Yeah.
Okay, so our worst is Pain. Are we agreeing
Yes.
on that one?
Yes, we
Yeah.
are.
Okay, that would have been one
Sorry,
of my
whoever
favorite
wrote that episode.
shows.
It was terrible.
The other two I put down for that were Time and Darkness. And that was because Time was it's too early to have an impact. I think it was a really cool episode, but it was far too early. It was a season 2 kind of thing.
You
and
mentioned
Darkness,
Time.
I didn't like because I didn't know what the hell was going on. Nobody was telling me anything, and I realized at that point, wait a second, Eli might be our quote-unquote reliable narrator out of everybody, but even he's not truly a reliable narrator. Nobody is. Colonel Young's not a reliable narrator. Telford's not a reliable narrator. Rush sure as hell is not a reliable narrator. We don't know what he's doing half the time, and so on and so forth. Camille's not, et cetera, et cetera. Like, everyone's out to get each other in a different way, or at least hide something from somebody else to one-up them later. And I think it's great, but it was just too early for me, I guess. But Pain overall. So
you just mentioned Time.
Yeah.
Let me right. You just mentioned Time. That was a solid pick for me to be one of the best, but I didn't pick it because I felt it was too early to do that kind of episode. But the reason I would have picked it as the best is because it had time travel in it, and anything with time travel, I absolutely love.
Of course. As a Doctor Who lover, of course.
I'm in my TARDIS right now.
I almost picked Time as one of the worst at first. I didn't like the Kino, and it was like so glitchy. That was annoying. But it turned out okay, and they did end up bugs again, or creatures, or whatever they were. That they use that's where they get the venom that helps medical stuff or whatever. So it ended up being better than it starts to me. So I didn't end up picking that one, but
it was kind of it is a really good episode at the end of the day. Looking back on the series, I think watching it for the first time, it's like, but it does feel early. But like you just said, it actually is a good episode in the sense it does resource stuff without telling you it's doing resource stuff. It gets you the kind of medicine that they've been needing for a little bit, and it doesn't feel like, let's go wander the desert and look for some water. Let's go do this or that,
And in hindsight, looking at it, as a fan of time travel-ish like stories, there are way better time travel stories coming up. So
yes.
One in particular for season 2, probably. I think we might all like that specific one. But real quick, before we jump into season 2, we know we've agreed upon Pain is the worst episode of season 1. What is the best episode of season 1? 2 of us said Incursion. Are we going to take the easy route and just do that, or are we going to go in and figure out like a specificity? Because I do kind of like Incursion a whole bunch.
I liked Incursion.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
we'll call that a 2-parter.
I could say that, yeah.
Right.
I just hope you're signing yourself up to hang out with us for a little bit longer and watch all these episodes in a month or so.
I'm signing up to watch Stargate. Oh no.
Oh no. For charity.
Damn.
Oh no.
I thought this was
Stargate
Star
buddies
Trek.
go around.
What are we talking about?
Lieutenant James thinks she killed Scott. Let's just catch up with some comments real fast. I liked when they did Kino Diaries. That was different. That was cool. The shaky cam throws you off a little bit.
Yeah.
The what?
There was like little webisode things.
Yeah, it really felt like that. Very
I gotta watch it. Yeah.
Very, very 2010. The Blue Aliens were the only reliable narrators. Yeah. Yeah. I like the ones where they brought Eli's mother. That was kind of sad in its own ways too. I mean, very sad in its own ways. That was one of the episodes that showed it was no longer just SG1, SGU. I mean, SGA. Happy times, no matter what. We're gonna find like the optimistic look at the end of it. They were ready to go into the a little more deep and daunting aspects of space, what that means, and getting away from your family for that long. Because SGA did the same thing, but tackles it in a much nicer way. You can't do that when you're on the Destiny. That's too far. But speaking about the Destiny, season 2. What are we thinking? What is the best episode We started with you, Matt, last time. Sarah, you down to get us going?
Epilogue. Is that what the name is? That's my favorite episode. So, I mean, you could say the one before that because they kind of go together, but I'll go, since we're picking one, I'll go with Epilogue.
Cool. That's great.
I just love the whole, like, you know, alternate destiny people travel back 2,000 years and now, like, grown into this huge thing on multiple planets. And I mean, they just started to tap into that right at the end. And I'm just like, that's like pretty awesome to have all this, like, there's all these humans in Destiny universe, I guess, galaxy, I guess we'll call it, you know, that are all descendants of them. I thought that was like really cool, and it would have been fun to be able to explore that and go to the different planets where maybe there's different groups of people at different levels of development or whatever. It was just really a cool idea. I liked it.
It's super cool. That's a good planet builder episode where you're like, okay, this is showing us what can actually happen out in weird deep space time over here.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Right.
Matt, what are you thinking? Or excuse me, M-At down there. What are you thinking?
M-At, yeah. So I've got two again. One of them is Common Descent, which is the one just before Epilogue, because
they kind of go together.
It's them discovering the people, and then you find out all the history that it was basically the crew of Destiny. But I think the one I'm actually going to pick is Twin Destinies, because it's essentially what the catalyst for all of that. Without Twin Destinies, Common Descent would never happen. Epilogue would never happen. So Twin Destinies is the catalyst. Plus, we get two versions of what's his name? What's his name?
Rush.
No. Well, yes, technically.
Yeah.
The other guy. So the guy goes through this because the premise is they're trying to dial home to Earth. Telford.
Yeah.
He manages to get through, and then they all go back in time. And then we see him die, which I love because I really hated him.
But I love him too. It's LDP, Lou Diamond Phillips. He played such a bad character, but he's so good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
he was in Travelers, and he was good in that as well. So was Louis, whatever the guy's name.
Diamond Phillips.
No, the guy who plays Young. What's his name?
Louis
Ferreira or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something like that. Because he was just in Shogun as well from the beginning of this year.
There was a lot of Stargate actors and Travelers actually. The guy, you know, the boy, the young guy in Common Descent, who meets them. There's two people. There's a male and a female. They're on the thumbnail.
Yeah, this guy.
Yeah, he's one of the main characters in Travelers.
Oh no way. Okay.
Yeah. He's a drug addict.
Brad Wright wrote him into a drug addict after SGU. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Hey, you take the characters you can get. You act in all of them, you know. Yeah. So y'all, I cheated.
Mm-mm.
I really.
Did you just
really
go by IMDb? Did you?
No. I cheated, and my best for season 2 is quite literally half the season I wrote right there. I wrote Greater Good, Malice, Twin Destinies, Epilogue, Blockade, and Gauntlet. I was like, I got to choose between one of them. Y'all chose 2 of them, so Twin Destinies or Epilogue, it's going to be one of the ones I choose, I think, just to simplify the whole process. The Greater Good and Malice are both phenomenal episodes. Greater Good, when Young and Rush are trapped and abandoned, he brings Amanda Perry on board.
Is that the one where Rush? They have a fight on the planet. Is that one?
They have a fight. No, they don't have like the physical fight. That's season 1.
Was it?
Yeah.
I think.
Where he leaves him on the planet and
this is like a huge verbal spat, really, but it's kind of when they don't learn to see eye to eye necessarily, but there is an understanding that is reached to a degree of some sort. Yeah. But yeah, it's just that's really good. I think the elements of Young and Rush finding that little bit of understanding finally over time, plus the Amanda Perry stuff. The Amanda Perry I like a lot.
Right. I think this is also when they discover that Rush knows how to control the ship, and he hasn't told anybody.
Which is kind of part of that argument and that understanding. Is like Young is saying, no matter what I do, I'm not going to be in charge. He kind of comes to that understanding as, okay, Mr. Military, try to take control, but we need Rush. Rush is the only person that can do this. Even Eli can't. Eli hasn't even noticed that he's been doing this. If Eli can't figure it out, maybe I should listen to him to a degree. But also, he sure as hell doesn't want to. So it's just that fun dichotomy, and it's so good. Malice, I thought, was really good as well. I just like the whole Simeon stuff. The Lucian Alliance stuff is really good. That's whenever you get your...
Oh, yeah, and the actor that plays Simeon he's so good, and he basically plays the same kind of character in everything he does. You just love to hate him.
Yeah.
He's so slimy. Like I really want to know what he's like in real life, because he can't be like that. He can't be like that.
Probably like the nicest dude ever. Just like, hey guys, one of the like bikers that like play Santa on the weekends or something. You know, like sweetest.
A kid's entertaining, just like
Seems like the people that are the best at playing like these horrible characters are like super nice people.
Yeah. Clancy Brown, I think, is one of those. Like the dude that just the voices, the scariest of everything, and then all of that. Yeah.
Right.
Ron Perlman, he seems really cool, but I don't know if he's a gentle giant as much either. But I liked me some Ron Perlman too. But Epilogue,
the guy who plays Homelander as well, Anthony Starr. I bet he's a massive. Well, Homelander's just the biggest dick, isn't he? But I'd love to see what Anthony Starr's
ever done is like chill. Even whenever Anthony Starr's playing military people, which he plays a lot, he's like the chill military guy. It's hilarious. And then he's just the most evil person ever. It's great. Epilogue, though, and then the last two behind it, Blockade and Gauntlet, are just so special in their own way. Gauntlet that'll just make you tear up a little bit, you know, or at least make you think about it. And then
it's very emotional.
I can't ever pick that as a favorite episode because it's
the end.
As good as it is, it's the end. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's going to be the thing that crosses it off my list for
me. Is it? We'll see.
15 years later.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm still waiting. I love that. I know it was just a little rumor, and I know they probably floated it around for half a second, but that SGU animated movie, just to fill in some gaps, come on. It's such an easy idea. Bridge the gap a little bit. But, okay, the kind of finality, that blockade when all the drones are going on, I do really enjoy that as well. It's badass, simply put, you know? It's just a lot of cool space stuff in there.
It was kind of nice with them having drones, actually, because they didn't. Every series of Stargate had like a robot, so replicators.
Yeah.
In SG1 and SGA, they couldn't really do that in SGU, so I like that they did like drones because it was the same but different enough that it was interesting.
Well, and they were not necessarily more intelligent, but it was a mystery in and of itself. Who sent these drones? Why are they attacking life forms of all things? Wait a second, we see some other life forms. These life forms are attacking us. Wait a second, they're getting attacked by drones too. It just adds a level of mystery and just intrigue throughout the entire series without blatantly saying it, where the replicators in SGA and SG1 were as cool as they can be and as useful as they are at times. It is blatant, kind of just in your face, like, this is what's going on. The replicators, they're not really smart, so we have to tell you what's going on. Then they get a little smart, especially in SGA, and it gets a little trickier. But this is definitely the best iteration of, I think, robotic beings that we've had in Stargate.
Yes.
Right. I kind of like this whole mindless evil thing, too. Like, they're just programmed to do this thing, and, like, you can't change it, and they have no feeling, and,
Yeah,
where
just about
you
to say the
did end
same
up
thing.
feeling bad for
They're not inherently evil. They were just made by someone, and they're just fulfilling a task, which makes them scarier because you like
Yes.
we don't control them, and we can't
Yeah.
negotiate with them, and we can't reason with them. So
Sure, you feel no remorse in killing it and taking out the drone, or killing it, just destroying it, really. But they have no remorse in taking you out either. Even with replicators, we've seen it happen both times. SG1 and SGA, you can kind of talk them down a little bit. You can reason with them because there
was
at
a
least
sense of humanity to them.
well, they're AI in their own way, like true AI, not like I think VI is how we all think of AI typically nowadays as a society, but AI, true like artificial intelligence, is thinking for itself. It needs to learn, and the replicators are learning through that time, and you do get to witness that. And like Sarah was just saying, these things are mindless; they don't care, and I think that's just it's daunting, especially daunting when you're on the Destiny in the middle of space. Resources are running amok, of course, as always. You don't have anything. You don't even know how to get to the majority of your ship to access the coolest part, the best parts, the things that might keep you alive. It's cold, methodical machines. Well said, Melvin. Like it is. Yeah, they're excellent.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that's even more excellent in this season, I think, are the epilogue and Twin Destinies episodes, because they're so spacey and timey, perfectly sci-fi. They encapsulate everything SG1A and U are about. I really love them both. I want to choose Twin Destinies because I was literally talking about the fifth dimension and doppelganger universes with my mom yesterday. I love Epilogue because Twin Destinies is the catalyst of it all, and I really do like the Rush heavy aspect of that. I'm just a big Rush may be my favorite. I think Rush and John Shepard might be my two favorite Stargate characters, and Daniel Jackson. Those are probably my top three if I had to do it. I'd like the smart guys that are still tough, capable. Rush might not be so militaristically capable, but the dude's scrappy. He'll keep at it, and that really kind of
angry Scotsman, isn't he? So
hey, he kept fighting Colonel Young and didn't lose. Definitely lost, but didn't lose. So hey, I'll probably go with Twin Destinies though, just because it is the catalyst. I love Epilogue, but it almost does feel like the end of the series in a way as well. Before they get to the end of the series on the ship, and it's priming you to be a little sad for Blockade and Gauntlet at the end of it, which is good. But then again, Twin Destinies primes that. So I think Twin Destinies, I would say, is the best just because it is that prime on a multitude of levels. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. We'll go Twin Destinies. And now what about the worst, y'all? Sarah, you want to start us off?
This one's easy. The easiest.
Cloverdale.
Yes.
It's kind of a cool concept and stuff, but it's like killer plants. I mean, do we need to say more?
It's just a non-episode, isn't it? It's
a filler. It's a what if?
Yeah. Or you're getting married in the morning.
Yeah.
It's a hallucinations episode. It's similar to that.
Yes.
Now, okay.
Yeah.
I agree with both y'all. Cloverdale, hell yeah, it's the worst episode. The other one I put was Pathogen because I watched all of this during the old coronavirus and all that stuff. So I was like, really? Another one of these? Great. But that was more because of that. It's a decent episode overall, sure. Cloverdale would have been better. Of course, you would have had to retrofit exactly what's going on during it. But I feel like Time in season 1 and Cloverdale should have been switched. Put Cloverdale in season 1 and Time in season 2. Kind of.
I don't know because I think the reason Cloverdale was okay in the sense that as an episode on its own, it kind of works because you already know those characters, and then they're kind of switching those characters up. So Young is his dad or something like that, isn't he? And the people that you expect, Brody's a shopkeeper or something crazy like that. Like
He owns the bar or restaurant or something.
Yeah, that's it. They just switch him up.
Mm-hmm.
But if they did that in like the first 4 episodes, when we don't already know the characters, it wouldn't have had the same kind of impact. The reason I don't like it was because it was boring. It was kind of like,
It is that too.
What was and also what was the point of it?
That makes sense too. I was thinking it might be a good way to get to know the characters a little bit without doing all the Seeing Stone stuff. But then again, it hits better when you actually know the guys and the gals in there, and you actually know how they interact with the world, et cetera, and you know them as people. So yeah, I feel you. But the worst overall is Cloverdale. Agreed?
Yes, I agree.
Okay. Well,
It was unanimous. As soon as Sarah said it, I was like, yes.
Yeah, as soon as it started, I realized what it was, and that was even before I realized it was like the killer plant thing, and then those plants are like attacking them or whatever. I thought, this is so stupid.
it felt like an episode of That's So Raven. I know y'all probably didn't watch That's So Raven, but there's an episode where there's like a killer plant.
I watched That's So Raven.
That just brought it. Like the second I watched it, I was like, oh, this is. What show am I watching? I guess it was around 2010, so you know. But still, that Cloverdale. So okay, so best for season 1, we've got Incursion. Worst for season 1, we have Pain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Best for season 2, Twin Destinies. Worst, Cloverdale. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Not shabby. All right. Well,
what about season 3?
Give us a season 3, please.
Every time you do that, I think my headset's breaking.
No, I'm just muting and letting y'all not deal with my crazy cough, which I will be nursing a Lawson's real quick. I can't believe this thing's still going on. A week and a half. Come on, Comic-Con. I didn't get the Ronas or anything like that. I tested a few times during the week. I don't think I have.
It's going around in the UK as well. This whatever people are getting. I've had it last week. My mom's had it. Everyone's getting it.
I hate it. I never get sick. I think it's really. I kind of went to Comic-Con and didn't host an after party, but my friend hosted an after party, so we were helping get everybody together all weekend. And I think I broke down my immune system a little bit, and it killed me after the fact. But you know, as long as I'm not on the Destiny with a bad immune system, I'm happy, because that good frickin' luck. If we were gonna do a season 3 of Stargate Universe, where would you start it off? Would you start it off jumping like?
I'd start it off the episode before Gauntlet, and then redo Gauntlet and make it so they don't get lost in space and then cancel for 15 years.
It'd be nice to do that.
That'd be very fun.
I don't know how it would work, because
Gauntlet this morning. So he had like 2 weeks. Eli had 2 weeks of time to try and fix that pod. So I guess we can see, like, does he fix that pod or not? What happens?
Yeah.
Does he? I'd like to think
3 years or 1,000 years.
Where would you like? Yeah, is Eli still out there? If y'all were gonna start it up, would you say he's still trying to find a way to fix it? He has found a way to fix it. He found a way to fix it so he could stay alive, or maybe enough resources for one person for a while.
Right.
Maybe brings everybody back. Maybe they are justice for Eli. Maybe they are slightly aging. Maybe he takes some of the resources from the pods and ages people semi-naturally without killing them. That way you get your actors back at the same kind of age rate, growth rate, and it would piss them all off the second they're out of cryo, because they're going to realize, wait a second, I'm old. I thought I was 20 years younger. What do you mean? That could be something
sense. And I think maybe some of the pods failed because you can't bring all those people back. So, I mean, you could easily just kill off most of the people, just say it failed and then just see if you can get, Young and TJ and Matt. Is that the guy's name? Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Maybe Greer.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's still active.
I could take or leave Greer. If he died, I wouldn't be too upset.
Right. I mean, just maybe he's available.
He's just such he'd probably be available.
He's a good character. It's a good character, but
yeah,
he's grating, but he's such a good just heel for everything in the series. He's just like, oh, you want something to happen? Let's make it happen real quick. And you're like, okay, well, here we go.
Yeah. They made him a real jerk at first, but later on, then you kind of like him. He's just a very into being a military guy, and I kind of like the relationship he starts developing with Park.
Yeah.
I think that's
honestly, I wouldn't want to see him dead just because of the Park relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That would be because she's still blind too. Yeah.
Right.
Maybe the pods cure her blindness over the time. That'd be cool.
I think that'd be feasible. Maybe it even cured TJ because she realized she was going to get ALS or whatever.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That was sad. I was just thinking about that stuff was so sad. Right after she figures it out, right after she gets her baby literally taken away from her from Planet Builders 2.
Right.
You're like, oh, we're doing this. We're going this far. It was depressing, but in a good way, like in a good storytelling way. It was totally going to bring us to somewhere.
Yeah.
Hopefully good, but interesting one way or another. And she's a great actress. Something Servino, I think. I don't remember her name off the top of my head.
I don't know any of the names really. I haven't even looked at it. But
what's worse is they had the cure but ran out of time to find it. Now it's a crapshoot of its data. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking that too. They had all that, data on that planet. Who knows? Maybe they'll catch up to those people because you would think they took that database with them when they left the planet. You hope, anyway.
Yeah, you would think, or you would hope. Yeah.
I think there's more offshoots of that civilization in and amongst that galaxy. I mean, whether they go back to it or not, we don't know because they're literally leaving the galaxy in Gauntlet, aren't they? But maybe they did intergalactic travel and they're going towards somewhere. They're going to meet up with Destiny and just be like, "Yo, I have some things for you. Here's a way home."
Yeah, could be.
That'd be interesting. Like, I don't know, like the things that come to mind, like how Eli could do something might be. I always thought it might be interesting. Of course, one of the most fun episodes is flying through the frickin' sun. I love that, flying through the sun and recharging the ship. So frickin' cool.
Yeah.
Maybe not do that and kind of pull a Samantha Carter and use the gravity of a sun or a planet or whatever. I guess gravity on sun doesn't necessarily make a whole bunch of sense, but gravity on a planet somewhere that they come across, hopefully within that 2-week time span that Eli is by himself, would maybe he can turn the Destiny around. I know that's a lot easier said than done, but use that gravitational force as like that catapult to kind of turn them around a little bit.
Slingshot.
Maybe send them, swing them back towards maybe their descendants, and maybe those descendants could help them or something like that. Because maybe this already happened to said descendants, and they know this story, and maybe they can help them or something like that. I don't know. I think there's some really cool little ways they could do it.
Right.
But will they and won't they? Please, like, come on. There are no planets, aren't they, in a void between galaxies? That's the thing. That as I started saying it, I was like, wait, there's a reason there that's not happening. But
he could still turn around if he.
Right.
But the thing is, I don't know if Russia ever gave him the command code or the access code. If Russia never did, he'd have to crack it in 2 weeks to do that.
Right.
He's smart, but Rush is smarter.
The question is, did Rush ever give that to Amanda Perry? And Amanda Perry is technically her brain's the ship now.
Right.
So
Oh
it is
yeah, you
Eli.
kind of forget about there's
Eli
those
and
other
Perry.
consciousnesses like floating around in there. You could do some cool stuff with that. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
isn't Amanda Perry and Gin both suppressed? Because if they come out, they will die. Like if they're holograms or whatever, they will cease to exist.
Well, yeah, because that's
isn't that
why
the thing?
she only communicates. She communicates. I don't remember exactly how, but she communicates with Rush through like not lights or lighting or anything, but she kind of lets him know she's there once or twice. I just can't remember off the top of my head.
What's that guy's name who sat in the chair? Was it Brody? No, it wasn't Brody. It was
Vogel, Dr. Vogel.
Vogel. He basically ascended.
Oh, Franklin. Dr.
Franklin.
Franklin.
Oh,
First
Franklin.
guy that sat in the chair, yeah. And
He
then
could do something
he
because
would like
he
show
appeared,
up
didn't he?
to Rush later
Yeah.
on. But I think that was like the ship maybe tapping into his brain or something. I don't know. But then he was
Yeah,
seeing his dead wife too, but
Yeah.
I like to think that's Franklin messing with him there.
yeah.
Could be Franklin and Amanda Perry kind of vying for control or power of the ship in a way.
I don't know. We've seen ascended beings like interfere with humans before. Especially like you got the Ori that do it in a different galaxy, and the ancients have no like jurisdiction on them. So if they're on Destiny, the actual ancients, the others who like we don't interfere, they've got no jurisdiction. They can't control them.
No.
So maybe there is like a little collective on Destiny, potentially.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit of a cop out though. I think thinking about it. Oh yeah, the ascended beings helped us. They're magic beings.
Yeah, they'd have to do it in a certain way though. Like maybe because they would still be the ancients that we know, and I guess that I was about to say know and love, but I don't know if we love them. They're just kind of they're pesky at times, but they left.
We love some of them. Some of them are nice.
Yeah, as long as it's not Anubis.
What reminded me, in was it one of the Air episodes where they go to the desert planet to find lime or whatever, and Matt goes out there and he sees those swirly things. I wondered if that was like ancients like trying to passively help. You know how in that episode, this episode in SG1, where Daniel shows up to Jack when he's being tortured by Baal, and then he does something that allows them to track where he is, kind of a passive helping thing. I was wondered if the ancients were doing that with the Destiny crew, with the swirls in the sand, and there was a couple other things too like that. But anyway,
well, because wasn't the sand stuff? Those were bugs that got into their water system and took out the water.
Yeah, that's what it turned out.
Okay. But Spin is reminding us, but didn't the ancients discover how to ascend after Destiny was built? Well, yes, but they also, the ancients were still, I mean, they would have had the same research the rest of the ancients would have had, we're assuming.
Mm-hmm.
And they jumped out into this other galaxy or other galaxies that the Destiny's going through. They may have never stopped that a goal, that same goal of reaching ascension. So they could totally still be going for it. And how would the chair on Destiny allow people to ascend? I don't know if it would allow them to ascend, but maybe it'd be more of, I don't know
I don't know that it necessarily made them. The chair was responsible for the ascension. I think in part having knowledge of ascension and it being an ancient chair. Like if you were just a regular person, you didn't know anything about ascension and you sat in it, you just die. But having the knowledge of ascension, knowing you're on an ancient ship and then dying, you might be thinking about ascension and therefore you ascend.
Or at least it helps push you in that direction, and your soul or whatever has to take that decision then or something.
Yeah, but then again, there could also be like an Omidasala type figure just helping because his body disappeared, which is the weirdest thing. It didn't just like he didn't just die. He disappeared, the same as what Daniel did when he ascended. So he ascended. He's got to have ascended, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's the only explanation, really. I mean,
yeah.
And we don't get a bunch of interaction after the fact, so
no.
Every bill is checked there, you know, like. Yeah, there's just so many weird and interesting ways they could bring it back, and there are ways they could do it without having to like, oh, the pods were doing this and the pods are okay, but we just let them sit over here. You could have people actually doing things. You could have people stuck in those things. Have Eli doing a bunch of things. You could have Eli almost on the verge of death, reach enlightenment or something like that. After those 2 weeks, not find anything, and then really try the spiritual way, reach enlightenment. That might be your way to not have David Blue have to come back as well. Is like let him ascend,
right,
and control the ship from there, and maybe bring the ship. You can use Eli as like a benefactor in a way where he brings the ship as an ancient and still controlling it to somewhere that somebody on that planet, which could be a cool new species or more descendants of their beings or whoever, opens up the ship. And guess what? Oh, look, woke all these people up and now we got them back. Oh, well, there was a leak, so they aged a little bit, but they're all alive, healthy, and well. So on and so forth. Come on, give us something good.
I like the idea of what they did in the comic. Everyone's in stasis, and then Eli discovers a few more pods, and in those pods are ancients. And they're not the ancients that we know. They're the ancients way before Ascension. They're the ancients who were building Destiny. So they're smart, but they're not as smart as like we expect them to be. But they're smart enough that they can bring the ship back online, and they could like to full power, and they know exactly how it works. And they can do absolutely everything. It's basically a full crew, and they can help. But they'll probably be a bit arrogant and a bit like, what you're doing on our ship.
And they probably won't like the rest of the Destiny crew that we've come to know being there all that much either.
Yeah, so there'll be a bit of hostility there. There'll be a bit of conflict, and that'll be a really good season 3. Because it's ancients, but it's like ancients.
Well, they would just be Alterans at that point, right? Is how they would refer to themselves. Yeah.
Oh, well, no, they wouldn't even be Alterans because they didn't even build Atlantis at this point.
Hi, Steve. Oh, yeah. Well,
it predates Atlantis.
Yeah. Because they were building it like alongside of it, weren't they?
Atlantis was built on Earth way after Destiny. That's what I'm trying to remember the timeline. So they come from, I don't know, let's call it Ori Galaxy. They go to Takara. So there's like a whole plague. They reseed the Milky Way. They then start living on Earth, and they build Destiny. They launch it, knowing it's going to take millions of years. They then progress. They build Atlantis. Then they go to Pegasus, and then by that time, it's like the Middle Ages for us, kind of thing. Because it has to be kind of really, doesn't it? Because Merlin.
Right.
No. They come back during the Middle Ages.
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure that, they come back because of the Wraith. But yeah, they come back.
Well, yeah, they come back because of the Wraith, and then that's when the Ori come in again, and that's when they wipe them, or attempt to wipe them out, get close to wiping them out. And they kind of seed humanity in the remnants of their civilization, I guess. That's God, there's such a freaking rich lore of history and all of it. Like, and they do it well. They weave it well with their own stuff. Like, it's so just tickles your brain.
Yeah,
that's so good. Like, what we all talk about this stuff on a weekly basis, quite literally, all the time, as often as we can. And there's still like that kind of stuff where, sure, that might be down in our brain pocket somewhere, but that's not something we're thinking about all the time. And like, it is a quintessential part of the story in a way, It's just amazing.
Yeah.
Which think it does better than Star Wars and Stargate. I mean, Star Trek a lot of the times. Obviously, I don't know the Star Trek aspect as much, but
Right.
Stargate, it's just...
Who are the Ori descendants of? The Ori are descendants of the original people who were the ancient, who are the ancients. The Ori and the ancients are the same people. They're just a splinter group.
Yeah.
They're almost
the
like...
Ori were more focused on religion, whereas the ancients, or Lantians, Alterans, whatever you want to call them, were more interested in science and technology. And the two couldn't coexist, so the ancients left and came to the Milky Way.
They were both super intrigued with Ascension, but for very different reasons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. We got some cool stuff. I'm just clamoring for more. Hopefully we can clamor some more soon with some cool people. Well, hopefully we have some stuff to announce for some people out here soon, very soon. Have some things cooking in the kitchen for Sidetrack. But
cookies?
And it might be a little Stargate involved.
Cookies?
Cookies? I like cookies. Fresh Baked Nerd Cookies. What's the channel? What channel am I thinking of? Fresh Baked Nerd Cookies. Why am I blanking? She's awesome.
And I think it's just Nerd Cookies.
It's Nerd Cookies. Nerd Cookies. Okay, I was overcomplicating it and throwing my head out for a whack there. But yeah, she's really cool.
I'm pretty sure.
I think so. Another great Stargate channel. Not Stargate entirely, but does a lot of Stargate. She's awesome.
You might want to reach out to her actually, because last year, a year and a half ago, I reached out to her and said, "Do you want to do collab?" And she's like, "I'm a bit busy at the moment, but reach out to me again in a few months." And then I never did, but she might.
Hey, that might be a fun idea. Mm-hmm. We might have to talk about that here in a second, because that could be fun. Because we'll hopefully be doing some stuff with some people here soon. Hopefully we'll have some fun, fresh faces. I don't know about Nerd Cookies or someone like that fresh per se, but friends of the channel, we'll do some stuff. Have some people pop up for like Stargate SG1's charity stream in 2 weeks, all kinds of stuff. Because that one, that you ready to watch some SG1? We're gonna need that enthusiasm, Matt, because it is gonna be
how. Are you watching the entirety?
The best and worst episode of every season. And some of those tend to be...
Wait, you're going to watch the worst ones? Why?
Because it's what we're doing. It's just the series that we're doing real quick, you know?
I'll be there for the worst ones, but I'll be playing Daisy. Oh, it's that episode, is it?
We need human beings sitting here having a good time talking Stargate is all we need. Because that is going to be...
To be honest, there's not that many bad episodes in SG1 for me.
No, the bad ones are just silly, fun ones that don't necessarily like correlate as much. They tend to still correlate, but as much as like the ones that are more heavy-hit. Reach out to David Hewlett. Oh, we'd love to. Maybe in the near future. Semi-near future. I wouldn't say near. Semi-near future. We'll fingers crossed and we're working that direction. You know? But yeah, sci-fi folks, because we demanded it. I love it. But yeah, no, we're trying to do some cool stuff and hopefully be able to connect with some cool actors to do some stuff as well. That'd be fun. But in the meantime, we're talking Stargate, SG1, SGA, SGU, all day, baby. Yeah, I was prepared for SGU today. You know. Maybe eventually we'll actually get merchandise back up for Sidetrack, but I got to figure out some stuff first. That's confusing. That's confusing. I'm going to throw this to y'all before I do it. If you were an actor in the new Stargate series, what type of character would you be?
Oh, boy.
Well, you want us to answer that?
Well, because I got mine off the top of my head. I want to be Erisbach the Third. Erisbach had a child and then had another child. I'm Erisbach the Third. Put me a Sam Jones grandkid up in here. I'm ready. Hire me.
Character
Amazon.
that was in one episode. Okay.
So good.
I don't know why he's got this obsession with Aris Buck. Ever since I met him, he's like Aris Buck. Like, what episode?
I love bounty hunters, and that was like the cool Sam Jones freaking Flash Gordon pops up. I'm like, oh, here we go. This is awesome. And it continues to get more and more awesome. And we never see him again. Why? It hurts. I need more Sam Jones anywhere and everywhere, especially as a freaking bounty hunter in Stargate. Too damn cool. Too damn cool.
I don't know what kind of character I'd be, but I'd be a villain of some sort.
It'd be more fun, you know.
I want to be like a ball kind of villain, you know, like cheeky, like charismatic, kind of just like I'm evil, but I'm funny.
You said
Like,
a cheeky British man. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, I could be a cheeky British man.
What was that one guy in SG1 that was really annoying that popped in? Like, what was he in 2 or 3 episodes? Where on the one planet he was having people eat this herb that made them love him and everything. That character.
Richard Kind, the actor.
Yeah.
What's his name?
That character. I could see Matt being that guy.
You mean Lucius? Lucius from SGA?
Yeah, Lucius.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a Lucius character, no. I want to be an evil character, please.
You could be evil Lucius and have fun with it.
No.
Or go full Contraya.
I would probably be like a like a smart science, like a Daniel Jackson type, I think. You know, someone that was into like the history and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So not as military, probably more like on the citizen science side.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know, honestly, David, I know DB's in here, Mr. David Boyce. He always is our man. Gotta toss Sarah onto one of these little fun memes sometime, because he did create a great meme the other day. Did you see it, Matt? Where we're all the SGU whatever, I guess.
I did, yeah.
Jamie's an Ori and I'm a freaking Gould or a Jaffa, one of the two. And then all y'all get to be the badass team, of course. And then the Wraith one was really cool too. I could be a Wraith. I'd have fun with that. Oh, yeah. What was fun? I literally took that tweet and not that tweet. Sorry, I took that Facebook post and I like, you know, of course I saved a little photo of me as a Wraith. I was like, I'm keeping that one. I like that one. And I think it was Robert C. Cooper was posting on Twitter. It's something about like the Wraith hands, just different like old things, sketches.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. It was like artist concept of like what it would look like, whatever. Yeah.
And I just quoted it and said, makes me hungry or something like that. And I put myself as the Wraith right there real quick, and he just liked it. Didn't say anything. I was reaching. I was like, come on, give me a howdy or something real quick. But I got a like on the tweet, so I was happy. Mm-hmm. Or on the X, what do you refer to as a tweet nowadays? On it anyway. That's
a zeet.
A zeet. Honestly,
I haven't even heard. I don't even know.
I call it Twitter still. So
I do too. I don't. I'm like, I'm not. Yeah.
If I'm looking at X, I may call it X. But if I have to be looking at the letter right there to call it that, it's Twitter in my brain.
Mm-hmm.
God, I'm just imagining Matt as Richard Kind walking around now, and I'm looking back.
But him,
you'd be having so much fun doing it.
He was the Richard Kind character was sort of a Loki kind of type character, where it's like he's not, you know, he's just mischievous and
that cheeky British bastard a little bit, you know. Yep. Surprise. And he's also
I want to be pure evil. I want to kill people, but in a funny way.
So you're going imperialistic British on us. I see.
Yeah. All hail the British Empire. Except it won't be the British Empire. It'll be whatever empire by
the Ball Empire.
Stargate. Yeah.
If I'm Eris Bach III, you can be Ball's extra clone. The Ball the Third. Yeah. Ball 3. Ball cubed.
Yeah, there was a bit of a genetic malfunction.
You could be Ball's actual son, who has now cloned himself, and be the 69th clone, and you're just walking off in the world.
Would that be a Harcesis child?
Clone, really?
I don't know. I had to come up with a funny number.
Would that be a Harcesis though? Because Gold are not allowed to procreate.
That would be an interesting way of continuing Ball's legacy, is if he did procreate, and
Right.
Because the system lords were all gone, weren't they, at that point? So
they were all gone. So it's not like he really could have done anything, or anybody could have done anything about him doing that.
Right.
But they need another Goa'uld to procreate with.
There's still plenty of little small ones
No,
around.
you wouldn't. You wouldn't really, actually, would you? He just needs to find a not necessarily willing participant,
Yeah.
but a participant, you know.
It's doable. It's feasible. Yeah. Honestly, that'd be
let's for the context of it, say it's a willing participant. It's another Goa'uld. Yeah. Because I don't like the idea of the other one.
I mean, evil Goa'uld continuing the Goa'uld, seeing it might be
it's definitely up their alley, but it's not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to see that in Stargate.
No.
I don't think we need to go that dark.
Well, we did just talk about what's her name losing her baby and then getting ALS on a big fell swoop, though. I mean, so they have hit that dark before, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, no, that'd actually be a really cool way to continue the Goa'uld story. That I don't think we might have to do like a little video about that. That'd be fun. Where I don't think people have talked about that. That would be a good way where the Goa'uld are not wiped out. Of course, they still have that planet where the Unis kind of came from, and they have all like their old versions of themselves, I guess. But
right,
an actual undercover kind of Harcesis child that Ball was like, you know what, SG1 and Earth is probably going to get to me. The what are we called? The Tok'ra, not the Tok'ra, the Tauri. There we are. They're going to kill me. So I'm going to like enact the survival of our species kind of deal.
Yeah,
because I know
they can literally blend in as well because there's no symbiote. Therefore, there's no Naquadah, and anyone who has other symbiote can't detect them. And there's no voice because there's no symbiote. It's just a normal voice. They just have the knowledge and the intelligence of a Goa'uld. They're not super strong or anything. But
right.
They could use the Goa'uld tech, couldn't they?
Possibly. I don't know. Or maybe the Naquadah does transfer. I don't know.
Yeah.
That'd be fun to explore. That'd be a really good way to like, because we've talked about it, I guess, the last couple of weeks talking about SG1 and SGA. Realistically, of course, we want to know what the hell happened to the Destiny. Duh. Even if we didn't like, even if it's one of the fans of Stargate is like, SGU's iffy for me, back and forth.
Right.
They still want to know what the hell happened to the Destiny. You know, like it is that like quintessential question for all of us. But it does probably feel like SGA has the most threads to jump back on with. Alongside SG1, it would almost feel like SGA and SG1 put together would be a great way to jump back into everything.
Yeah, I think you could easily do that.
And the Goa'uld coming back with the Harcesis child would be an amazing thing. Maybe somebody that's embedded themselves inside of SGC of some sort over time, over the last 10, 15 years, could be that kind of almost plant that's found themselves inside of everything and are finding an avenue for them to take to create another Goa'uld empire in some way, or at least try that. They could be the overarching villain in like a Thanos way if they were planning out like a 10, 12 season thing. And they could be your friend at first until they finally bite the hand that they're being fed with and go on and be that kind of villain. I really like that idea.
Yeah, no, it sounds cool.
My brain, little writer's brain, hire me to write. I got you. Let's do this. That's just a really thing to run.
Yeah, just a million things that could be done. It's like
and the good thing about it, talking about all that rich lore and history that we've been discussing, is no matter which avenue you take, other avenues are probably still open to weave back around into.
Yeah,
and the avenue you're taking is going to be cool. Cool as hell one way or another, so ain't shabby. Robot clones from some random discovered DNA sample. For what, Rich? Could you give us context? Sorry, AD plus we're just talking about a bunch of stuff.
If you had the DNA, would it have to be robots? Couldn't you just do clones if you had the DNA? I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, are you talking about Ball in general? Because I guess we can't do Ball anymore just because. I forget the actor's name, but he's passed away at this point.
Right.
Cliff Simon.
Cliff Simon. There we go. Yeah, but Destiny's supposed to be in cryo for over 100 years, aren't they? So to find out when the new series. Well, that's what we're saying. Like, there are ways to work around that in a big way.
Right.
Well,
there's supposed to be 3 years if everything goes right. Or it could be 1,000 years if they don't have the energy to make it to the next galaxy. Because they were doing FTL. Because I just watched the episode this morning, so that's why I have this all fresh in my mind. But yeah, they were supposed to do FTL, and that's why he was only supposed to be like 2 weeks. Because then they needed to have, if he went beyond 2 weeks, then they wouldn't have enough power to stay in FTL till the next galaxy. That was what the...
Yeah. So you'd have to turn off all the life support and just die.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, not necessarily 100 years in the future. They could if they wanted to. They could always find a way to extend it to 100 years, but that wouldn't make sense for just, the actors still being alive and trying to make them be back in the series, so on and so forth.
Right.
That'd be interesting. That would be any kind of anything in the realm is going to be interesting, and they've already opened up that door. They haven't closed it yet. It was closed for a while, but apparently it's been creaking open, and we're just waiting for it to swing.
It's creaking open, and David Blue's at the door going, "Let me in! Let me in!"
Knocking as hard as he can. Help me. Ball, yes, but others are partials. For the robot clones? Give us, type it all out in one, I guess, and give us, like, the context in the question, if you don't mind. That way we can just, wrap our heads around it a little bit. This one cracked me up.
That's just regular British.
Cheeky British bastards, as they say. CBB. That cracks me up. Yeah, now I'm just waiting on what Rich is going to say. I'm intrigued. They probably just end up making some quick, bland conclusion for SGU. That would suck. That would suck. But
or do the world builders get involved and like jump them way ahead to? Because what did Rush want to? What was the ultimate? They were trying to get to the source of that signal or whatever. That's what.
Yeah.
It was, and that's what Rush wanted to do. Yeah.
But realistically, they've gone through however many galaxies.
Right.
They might never reach that goal, because the center of the center of the universe where they're going to, or the center, the epicenter of the Big Bang. It could still be like another 3 billion years away.
Right.
Could be 100 years in cryosleep. It could be 2 minutes. Like we don't know how far away it is.
Right.
But they're going faster than light, but they're not going like hyperspeed.
But like Sarah just said, what if the planet builders do something? Like I mean, we remember when, of course, all the people from the Destiny that stayed on that one planet, and halfway through season 2, like literally episode 5 or 6 through season 2, they're all back.
Maybe the message is from them. The message at the beginning of the universe was from the planet builders, and they eventually show themselves, and they go, and they show up on Destiny. They don't have like a corporeal form or whatever. They're just like energy beams, but they show up and then they go, "Hey, we've been trying to contact you about your car's extended warranty."
We've been knocking on your door every day, once a day.
We sent this message out billions of years ago. We've been trying to reach you ever since.
Fan film idea.
Yeah.
That's not a genuine suggestion, MGM. Please do not do that.
I mean, this is a legitimate concern right here. Is we do get new Stargate. SG1 and SGA are like the kind of the head honchos, and it's really where we would like to continue. Of course, we all want to know what happened to the Destiny, but we're not. I don't think we're hearing people say, "Let's jump right back in and continue on like that same exact path of journey." You know, I think they would totally take it in a different route if they did do that, or did bring back SGU. But if they do focus on the SGA and SG1 side, which makes more sense, especially just jumping back into Stargate in general.
I don't think they should focus on any of them. They should do an entirely new series, but wrap up loose ends.
Yeah, but a lot of those loose ends are gonna be more Earth-based or Milky Way-based or Pegasus at most. It would seem. It would make, not necessarily it would seem, but I don't know. This is, I think, a legitimate worry that I don't know if we've really talked about so much. Is if they do that, what if they just find a quick way to tie the bow on SGU and say, oh, guess what? They hit a planet or they reached the end of the void of space between galaxies. They hit a planet at the end of it. And since Eli was the only one there, he said, let's use that big old Stargate inside the Destiny again, but let's blow up this planet and send everybody home this time. I don't know.
Right.
And then everybody's just been home.
Oh, what? So they just so happen to find an Icarus planet.
Yeah.
Hey, if possible, floating out in the middle of space, you know, anything can just pop up. So that would be a bland conclusion, you know, like.
Or they all wake up and it was all a dream.
Yeah.
They all have ALS. I'm kidding. No, that'd be bad. That would, anything like that would be awful. Just give us something.
They all wake
Everybody
up.
would hate that.
I mean, because they're all getting Barl's trying to procreate with all of them, and it's just they're all just prisoners. Destiny never happened.
It'd suck, but it'd be pretty funny. Turn into a little sitcom right after it. Just same crew just wakes up. They're actually all really funny. Rush isn't smart either. It's just, you know.
Right.
Okay, Rich has elaborated for us. He said, any descendants, be it replicators or Gould, anyone could play alive or dead. Cryosleep is an option too. DNA extracted for replication purposes. The guy who creates the robot SG1 but isn't aware of the mistake he's made turns it into a new angle but not repeat stories. Okay, now I'm kind of seeing what you're talking about. The guy that made the that wasn't Contria guy, was it? Whoever the guy was that made the essentially AI robot SG1.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I can't think of his name.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
Like they could totally do that.
Oh, yeah.
Make like new replicators, new Ori, new Gould.
Right.
You couldn't make a new Ori out of robots because the Ori are the Ori because they ascended.
Right.
Yeah, and you're not going to be able to like use Ori powers through that kind of stuff either, because that requires a soul ascension or at least semi-ascension, whatever they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, Rich, that's some interesting thoughts. Those are some very interesting thoughts. Those could be some really cool stories too, and it might be a fun way to do that kind of like Stargate the Next Generation kind of thing where, hey, we have all these new people, but we have exact clones of the old ones. And I don't know, deep fake and de-age some people for a little bit for an episode or something. That might be fun, but yeah, like, you know, like not do a repeat story, but do something just wild and interesting. Or sci-fi, as you might say. You know? But Spin says, I'm done with replicators and the AI drones. How about robot clones? Me Nails is saying, so elderly Eli died old age and trip between galaxies. It would make the most sense.
No. What happened to Eli was he couldn't fix the pod and he died of asphyxiation because they turned off the life support.
Right.
He sacrificed himself.
That would actually make the most sense.
That is the most likely scenario.
Yeah, unless, like Harris was saying earlier, he figured out a way to draw more energy from the pods, which ages everybody, but then he's able to, because maybe he's on the brink of discovering something that makes the trip faster or whatever, and he's like, I can't just die, I gotta figure this out. So he messes with things.
It would be really interesting if he did that and like left clue and set himself up to die essentially, and he dies, and that way they don't have to bring David Blue back, because I know that is a little dicey for some folks. But I mean, it would still be fun to see Eli back as a character. But if Eli were to be dead as a character, do exactly that, age the folks up, and then maybe have Rush. Eli's left notes for Rush, and maybe Eli got a hold of Franklin and Vogel and Amanda Perry and all these different people that have kind of been a part of the ship, found a way to communicate with him. Never a way to do everything he meant to do, but those are clues that allows Rush to jump back in and try to figure out exactly what's going on. And maybe that an interesting thing that could happen there is say, hey, Colonel Young wakes up too, but in Eli's instructions, he's said for everybody to specifically only follow Rush. And he's like, hey, I know this is going to be controversial and none of you are going to like it. You have to only follow Rush. Rush is in charge. I am dead. My body's in a corner over here. Please give it a proper burial. This is what I learned before I passed, kind of deal. Mm-hmm. That might be interesting.
Yeah.
And kind of sad, but also maybe best for actors at hand. I'm not sure.
Right.
Yeah. Rich is saying, personally, he hopes it isn't just glazed over and, well, this kind of happened. Not overly woke and upset. Those of us die hard. Right. Yeah, I don't think glazing over any SGU conclusion will be a good idea. That bland conclusion would be more depressing than the ending to SGU season 2. Like, and that's depressing. Yeah, okay. I'm over the Gould as well, but wouldn't mind them being minor characters, just not the main antagonist. How do y'all feel about that one?
Yeah, they'll just be like annoying little characters. Like they'll just be they'll be in the galaxy.
Yeah,
but they'll just be like popping up every now and then, trying to start their own little like communities and stuff.
Yeah,
trying to get power, and then someone just comes in and is like, "Nah, stop that, stop."
Yeah,
stop. And then they do.
Yeah, the Gould as that got old. Yeah, so.
Would y'all like it almost as like, of course, the Lucian Alliance will have grown to some degree, of course. They're probably the bigger threat now, but would you like that Gould to almost take that Lucian Alliance place? It's like, oh, these pesky little things. Come on now. What, y'all were helpful 10 minutes ago. Now you're biting us in the back again, kind of deal. Or I do like the Harcesis thing. Maybe the Gould aren't the main antagonist until the very, very end again. And, you know, you have that little Thanos Harcesis aspect of it. And it's not like, it's not like the Gould in the sense that we know, since there's no symbiote, you know. That'd be interesting. There's lots of DNA questions.
I would like to go deep into the Lucian Alliance. They seem like interesting, you know, with the different tribes and stuff like that. I mean, I wanted more of that. Like, what's their deal?
Well, anyway. I agree with you. I don't think they can be as evil as they come off to be, especially with the tribes and stuff, because it feels like those are the spacefaring civilizations of people throughout the galaxy that we really haven't met. Maybe some of the ones that we have. Maybe the Tolan and the Asians were part of a Lucian Alliance at a certain point, but who knows, you know? And maybe that was why they were a little more antagonistic at times towards us than protagonistic towards the Tauri, you know? Yeah, that'd be cool. Melvin's saying they lost a seeding ship. What if there's no gates at some point? They're screwed.
Well, they've always got the gate on.
But there's no gates to
Destiny.
Go down to.
No, but they sent out multiple ships, didn't they? They didn't send out just 2. They lost one. No, was there one that they found one, and that was the one Telford was flying on?
Yeah.
Did that get destroyed?
Yeah, they kind of did. Those other aliens did a kamikaze run to take out a command ship.
But I think there was more than one seed ship.
Yeah, I think they were saying it was like Quest says here, a seeding ship. I think there were other ones.
Yeah. So there will be other gates. There's got to be, because maybe the seeding ships went in like different directions.
Well, even if they didn't have a gate, they could technically. They have shuttles now, really just like 2 of them, but they could take a shuttle down to the planet that wasn't gated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that could definitely bring its own problems. We all have to get back to the shuttle now, or do we take the shuttle around the planet instead? How much are we walking, how much are we not, kind of deal, and there'd be factors to that. Maybe someone stays with the ship and flies the planet to survey. Everybody else is on the ground. If something happens to the guys on the ground, and whoever's flying the ship needs to come back and doesn't make it entirely in time, or just in the nick of time, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
Cool ways to do that. Okay, well, it was the Comtria guy. Simulated abilities of those and not already of the Ori. Okay. Okay. Comtria.
Harlan? Was his name Harlan?
I think it was Harlan, because he totally reminds me of Harlan Williams now that you're saying that, the comedian. But Harlan is... Can we have Harlan Williams as Comtria guy?
I think... I need to Google it. Hang on.
I think it was Harlan. That sounds familiar. Harlan Comtria. See if it pops up.
Harlan, yeah. Survivor of Altair. It was called Annoying by Jack O'Neill. Harlan. Saying Comtria, yeah. Yeah. It's Harlan.
Yeah. So I guess the Ori really are still Alterans. I guess the Ori are really just the religious sect of the Alterans at this point, and
but they're all dead, aren't they? So they're all gone.
Well, just the ascended beings, not their actual populace. The population in the galaxy is still there.
Yeah, but they're just human.
Or are they Alteran? Because they're not technically humans, aren't they?
So I think what they did, the same way the ancients reseeded the galaxy, the Milky Way, they reseeded their galaxy with those people. So they are technically human, but they're not Alteran.
I see.
Or whatever the original name would have been for them.
Mm-hmm. Alteran, Lantian, etc. Yeah.
I mean, we're all the same. We are the same species as the Alterans. Mm-hmm. They're just a more evolved version.
Yeah. They were our prototype essentially. If we're talking aliens, they're our engineers in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And that makes the planet builders what? Who? I don't know, but I want to find out.
Yeah, I kind of want to know what's the hierarchy there, So.
It'd be really interesting. I mean, just saying that hierarchy just for a second made my brain go into ancients versus planet builders.
Right.
Who wins? Versus Ori, because Ori were going to take out the ancients as well, and the ancients weren't going to do anything about it. If the Ori and if a being can do what an Ori can do and half ascend, almost like an Anubis, but stay on that kind of plane of existence a little bit more thoroughly or surely, where I don't know. There's just so many little different things you can take.
That whole thing showed that there was different layers to ascension.
Mm-hmm.
So who's to say that the ascended beings that we know are on the highest plane? They're just on a higher plane. They're not on, not necessarily the highest plane. So there's probably what they would call so for us, they're ascended beings and they're really powerful. But for them, the planet builders might be their version of what the ascended beings are to us.
Okay, so almost they ascend and then they realize, oh wait, we still need to really ascend.
Yeah, there's more. You can always go higher until you are eventually the universe. Everything becomes one eventually.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
We are all one with the universe.
One love. One heart.
And Daniel Jackson discovers this. He discovers it by ascending and then goes, actually, I want to ascend again. And he does it and he does it and he does it and he does it. And then eventually becomes the universe and he sends a message back in time. From at the beginning of the Big Bang, and the message is, we've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty.
The planet builders are just Daniel Jackson.
That signal is Daniel Jackson sent it. Yeah, that's what it's really about.
It would kind of suck if they did that now, But if
Yeah.
they would have done that 10 years ago and like continued a story and like it led to something like that,
Right.
I think we probably all would have been eating it up. It would have been fun.
Yeah.
What's Melvin saying? Melvin said, "What if Eli found a message from within the ancients with a way to upgrade the engines to intergalactic star drives?"
Ooh.
He doesn't have the technical capabilities to do it. He might like.
Yeah, when the ancients have already done that.
Thing.
Wouldn't have the equipment or the
turn that ship around.
You can use
unless he found like a fabricator, like.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And then it was just a case of I need to put this chip in this hole, and conveniently upgrade everything.
Yeah, I don't know. That one might just be a little past that far-fetched. Right.
Well, that could be the thing that he needs more than 2 weeks. He needs like, well, I need 6 months to upgrade it, which, you know, kind of doing that trade-off of like, if I can get this to work, then boom, we're in the next galaxy and everything's good.
And maybe he could only
work. They're floating out there for 1,000 years or whatever.
Yeah. And maybe those pods got extended a little, or he leaked them a little bit so they could age, and it extended his life. Maybe he needed 6 months and only got 4, and leaves those instructions or something for everybody, or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we're right. MGM, hire us.
Right.
We got this.
Or maybe he decides to wake up a couple people to help him do it, like, you know, Brody and Rush or something.
Brody would be good because I do like the actor a whole bunch, but he's just, by technicality, the expendable one, you know?
Right.
Sucks, but he's smart enough to help. It's easy enough to send off, in a way.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Deuce is saying, I always hated the first 10 episodes, despite the show being one of my all-time favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Hate, or just like, weren't as good as you'd wanted, you know?
Yeah, the first half of the first season is not. About the second half of the first season is when it picks up, and it's good from there, pretty much. So.
Oh, in a big way. Yeah. Did we say the word hate and Matt switched to red?
I've been red for a while.
Okay, I just saw like the red increase a little bit, and I just started cracking up. I was like, the hate is strong. Go full Anakin on us real quick. Yeah. Blue to red. Would love a season 3 SGU more than any other show, and I still really hope to find out how it ends. Oh, in a big way, Deuce. That's fun to say too. But yeah.
Or maybe the Destiny just shows up like that shuttle. The Destiny just shows up on Earth or something. I don't know. But then the mission and all that, I don't know. That would make sense. But
what if the planet builders were brought it? Not just bring them back to Earth or whatever, but what if the end of the Destiny's route was Earth in a weird way? I guess
that could be too.
What, they just do a massive circle around the universe?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because their goal was to reach the center of the universe, and they can kind of gauge it, but maybe the center of the universe, according to whoever the planet builders were, may have been like the ancients' version of the ancients to them in a way, and like it's really just the center of their world, you know, like
they were trying to reach the center of the universe. The universe is constantly expanding from that point.
So it would be the center of their universe, whatever they consider their world, right?
No, what I mean is, right, so you've got this point here, and the universe is expanding out. Like, say we're here, and it arrived from, like, Earth is here. That point is always moving that way. And if you're moving that way, you're also moving that way. So essentially, you're staying still. So it's Destiny essentially just staying still in relation to the center of the universe and not going anywhere, and you're never going to reach it.
I think it's going faster than it's expanding, is kind of what they've said, if I remember correctly. But that would make sense in the sense where, like, that's what I was trying to say is, like, that center would be relative to wherever the planet builders started from, right? Like, it would be the center of their world in the way they considered whatever their center, because that universe is still expanding, so it's totally not still the center. well, I guess it could be technically if it expands the exact same rate in every direction. We might. That's a Stormy question. We need our resident rocket scientist for that one.
Yes, we do. Or we need to get
also,
Neil deGrasse.
They know where the center of the universe is. They know where the center of the universe is based on light. Essentially, you just look for the darkest spot in the sky, and that's going to be the center because it's the furthest part away, which is never going to reach us because it's so far away. I mean, I know space is black, and that's really hard to do, but it's something like that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
There are smarter people than me that know how to. Stormy is probably the guy to ask, to be fair.
Stormy needs to write that script because that script would be interesting. Where it does, because it would change it in a lot of ways. Because obviously they're searching for that center of the universe, but if that center is really just relative.
Gatewell just revealed season 3.
Yeah.
Of what?
Of SGU, that'd be awesome. I'm gonna say, David, shoot me a text. Let me know that. That's awesome. You know. But let's keep going real quick while we're checking that out. What Ball established went back in time? Perhaps he made clones sent forward in time. The clones evil Gould and good Gould.
They're a good Gould. They're called Tok'ra.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah, I don't know if that would. It's kind of a cool concept, and it would be fun to see Ball again, of course. But I don't know if that. I don't know if it'd be any different than anything we've seen before. It just kind of bringing good and bad Gould back, you know. But Choplo is saying, "What about the Asian seeking revenge?" That could be interesting. How many are alive? You know.
They're about to escape a black hole.
Yeah, it's kind of hard.
And that was hard enough for us.
I'm sure there are some around somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Maybe one of the few remaining Asians is the leader of the Lucian Alliance, and that's that they have against the Tauri.
Mm-hmm.
That could be interesting.
Mm.
There has to be a way for those repair robots to fabricate parts. You would think maybe the ancients didn't have 3D printers, and they weren't around in 2010, 2012.
I don't know. They never had fabricators in Atlantis, so if they didn't have it in Atlantis, they definitely wouldn't have it in Destiny.
Yeah. Huh. Doesn't Destiny... isn't Destiny after Seed Ships? Both Seed Ships and Destiny went through Pegasus Galaxy, right? I mean, Seed Ships definitely went through the Pegasus Galaxy at a certain point. I don't know if they were the exact same Seed Ships that were designated for the Destiny to do all this with. But Destiny and Seed Ships before Atlantis, right? Yes.
Yes,
I believe.
Definitely.
Yeah. And then Atlantis was separate and closer.
David, my picture's gone because I'm muting myself so I can vape.
Yeah. Kind of figured. I could hear it because my husband vapes, so I know that sound.
I'm really good at not doing it on stream, or trying to anyway. But it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's weird not seeing Teal'c whenever Matt pops out now.
That's because I'm not on the same account. I don't have access to that anymore.
Oh, shoot. We need more Teal'c. We'll bring Teal'c back someday. I think the only way they could give a proper ending for SGU as far as fans are concerned is with a movie. Yeah. My initial thought is yes and no, where I think that'd be the best way to explore like 1 or 2, maybe 3 even specific concepts. I don't know if it's enough time to give all of those concepts room to breathe.
Right.
If that makes sense.
I don't think it would. They would just pick a concept, like either the world builders or whatever, and just go with that. I don't think it would tie up everything in a nice bow. But maybe some of those things could be brought into like other Stargate, doesn't without it being SGU.
Yeah, as like maybe that'd be a good way to just get the ball rolling. Really
Mhm.
answer that planet builders question, kind of, and what's going to happen to the Destiny,
Right.
and then after that, all those people are back and say, well, wait a second, we have our descendants on. They could feel weird about maybe coming back to Earth because maybe they would rather go live with their descendants, you
Right.
know? And maybe they would be desperate to get back there, and maybe trying to get back there
Right.
opens up a way that the bad aliens that they found that were kind of after them come to Earth now. Maybe they have a way to open it up. I don't know, but something of those sorts. Yeah.
Or they figure out a way to power the gates between they figure out how to have enough power to do the gate between those galaxies.
Yeah.
But,
or maybe they accidentally blow up a planet so big or something like that is an Icarus planet, and it keeps a super gate open or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Or maybe those aliens start. Yeah. The aliens could take out use their descendants' planets as Icarus planets, maybe. And that could be a thing where, wait a second, these aliens are invading us, but we need to get back over there and save our descendants. And maybe the rest of SGC is like, well, are those even real people? Because they're you in the past and the future and the present.
Actually, what you just said about the descendants, they've got all the knowledge of the original expedition, like of it's not really an expedition, but getting to Destiny. They know that Icarus was a planet type that they needed. They know the kind of planet type that they need. So it's in their database. They've had however many hundreds of thousands of years to advance their civilization and mapped out that galaxy. They probably would have found a few and mapped them out just in case they ever came across Destiny, because they knew they would eventually, because they remember it.
The only thing they wouldn't have would be Stargates, or the capability of building new Stargates, really.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless they found a seed ship.
But I don't know if they could use them. Can they use them? Yeah, they can use them, yeah. But they can only go between their own little bubble. Yeah, because it's a very primitive form of gate travel, isn't it?
Yeah, that could be really... I think we've hit a couple notes while we've just kind of been hanging out, like just thinking about this stuff. For a couple really interesting notes that I hope whoever's writing this has thought about these pathways, because I know there's a lot of pathways to take from SG1 and SGA, like we mentioned, but outside of just the Destiny, like there are some very neat pathways they could take. Very.
Yeah.
The Descendants, I think, are the best bet because they've had so much more time to think about it. They had the entire lifetime of the original crew, not including Rush, because Rush wasn't there. But like they had, was Eli there? Yeah, Eli was there.
Yeah,
Eli was there and had basically the entire time to like start documenting stuff, start thinking about stuff, and then he eventually figured out that they were in the past, and then we were like, right, so we're going to build a civilization right now. Eventually, that we're going to have space travel and stuff like that because we're going to live here. We're here now. Let's make it a mission for the people of Novus to like find these planets, because we will come across Destiny at some point in the future when the timelines match up, or when our civilization catches up to the original timeline, kind of thing.
Right. They don't really get into that. Maybe they would have if we had more time, but
yeah.
It starts getting very timey-wimey.
Yeah.
But I do like the idea of that humans, basically the crew of the Destiny, populates a whole galaxy. Just like this certain number of people ends up being millions of people across this whole, several planets. I think it would have been really cool to explore that.
It's almost like sci-fi Noah's Ark in a way, but in a different galaxy. Like, well, two of everybody from this planet, like different people from this planet. Here they are, and see what their children would end up being 1,000 years in the past. Is it enough, I guess, genetic diversity where they could see an entire galaxy? Apparently.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Like how much could the population increase in 2,000 years? But I guess it would depend on, how many babies people were having, and I know there's ways you could figure that out or whatever. But anyway, it'd be cool to kind of have it tie in of like maybe this was all the world builders' design or whatever to have all of this happen was like the plan of the world builders. Could be interesting.
Would that make them even more? Would that allow them to see in the future as well? Would that be something like maybe they don't have time? They don't think about time the same way we do.
Right.
They see it all at once, something like that.
Fourth-dimensional beings or something that they can kind of, they live sort of outside of space and time. I mean, basically, to me, I always think of them like they're gods, basically, the world builder.
Yeah.
At this point, they're god level. So they can, they know how to, they see the universe in a different way where they can just manipulate matter and time and things however they want.
Yeah. Well, okay, because ancients are essentially like that fourth dimension almost, because they're like space time that doesn't really matter to them.
Like Matt was saying, they're like lower level.
Yeah, maybe these guys are like eighth dimensional beings or something. Because I think your fifth dimension is like your doppelganger world, which is kind of what we see in that Twin Destinies episode, which leads up to all that stuff. Sixth dimension is your multiverse. Seventh dimension is your microverse. Eighth dimension is like supposed to be the encapsulation of it all. And maybe that's kind of where the planet builders sit. And of course, we can't understand that outside the conceptual stuff.
Right.
But they might, and that'd be fun to just watch them play with our sandbox, I guess. We would be their sandbox.
Right. That sounds more like a science fiction book than a television show.
Yeah.
Like a multi-series book series, science fiction series, Anyway.
But after 17 seasons of it, I mean, might as well be a bunch of books, Yeah. Shoot. That's some good thinking right there. That's fun. Okay, let's catch up with chat just real quick. I thought they were reaching the edge of the universe, not the center. Is that the case?
Yes, the center of the universe is the edge of the universe because it expands like a ripple effect.
Yeah. Okay.
Give like some an explosion, isn't it? Expands outwards.
Yeah, that would be that. The ripple is the best way of saying that, honestly.
Yeah.
For us layman's terms, we need you and Stormy to give us the actual lay down, the know-how.
I don't have any knowledge about space. My space knowledge is from Stargate.
Not a bad base, Definitely not a bad base to start off of. Third eye, though. This
time dilation. I know all about that.
Give some of the surviving minor Goa'uld a redemption arc and make others petty gangsters. Great idea.
That's essentially what they'd end up being, isn't it? They'd just be like,
so
they were the mob, and now they're just like low level, like holding up convenience stores.
Would that be some of the Goa'uld becoming Tok'ra, basically? Then, if they're good, because
they would seemingly be.
But is there any Tok'ra left, or they were just dying out because they didn't have their
queen,
other Goa'uld or whatever? Yeah, the Queen Goa'uld or whatever it was called. Yeah.
I don't know. I think now the System Lords are dead. They had kind of like a power like a clutch, a grip on the entire Goa'uld species. They can't all be evil, but the System Lords were evil, so they had a tight grip on you must do this.
Would
maybe there are some good ones, other good ones.
Yeah, I guess with the Tok'ra at this point, knowing that they don't have like the numbers they had at one point, and knowing that the System Lords can't really keep them down the way they have been for the last few millennia, would that be? They don't have a queen or anything. They know they're dying out, so maybe they go to that Unos planet and go try to like recruit queens. Is that something that happens? And maybe some Tok'ra end up being a little more gangsterish and fall off into some Goa'uld are redeeming themselves alongside the Tok'ra, and then some of the even the Tok'ra and other Goa'ulds kind of like go back into that petty gangster kind of thing.
Right. Or there isn't such a separation. They're just kind of, it all just becomes sort of gray, where they're just one group of beings. Maybe they even give themselves another name, but they're both, they're more just like there's good ones, there's bad ones. Just how it is.
Yeah. That'd almost be more interesting in a way. It's just like them trying to navigate the survivors of their species and realizing, wait a second, we can't be as evil as we were one way or another, because then we will get wiped out from all these other species that don't like us because we've been doing bad things.
It's like that scene from Mitchell and Webb, and all these petty Goa'ulds and just looking at each other going, wait, are we the bad guys?
That'd be great. I mean,
because they think they've just been doing the galaxy a favor for the last 5,000 years.
I do like the idea. I don't remember where I saw it, or maybe it was while we were talking last week or something, or 2 weeks ago, whatever it might have been. Was there's obviously Star Wars? Maybe not as familiar, but the idea of Palpatine actually being the good guy in Star Wars, because the Yuuzhan Vong were this terrifying species of beings that essentially were like, they weren't undead, but they were right next door to undead in a lot of ways, and the Force didn't really affect them at all. So even the strongest warriors in the main galaxy couldn't do anything. And Palpatine had grown up having these dreams and knew they were coming at a certain point. And that was why he was making the biggest military ever and all these different things. Yeah, some world domination might be some icing on that cake for Mr. Palpatine there. But it was ultimately for the greater good, is why he was having world-destroying weapons and armies that were hundreds of millions of people at certain points, Maybe the Goa'uld were trying to do something the same. Maybe the Furlings were that evil and little evil koalas like we've talked about. Or maybe the Nox really weren't so nice. Whatever that case may be, and maybe the Goa'uld were that barrier, and now that barrier's been gone for 10 or 15 years. The Ori tried to kind of break into it and realized, hey, well, this is a little something, and maybe another set of beings that have been, holding back for a while finally realized, oh, wait, this is right for the taking.
Right. Well, there's a power vacuum that needs to be filled. What fills that? Is there a war or wars or whatever that result from that?
Yeah. Because who's to say we haven't been in a war the last 15 years?
Yeah.
It would almost make the most sense to be in an ongoing, not Cold War, but a hot war, as in people are totally dying, but maybe not to the degree, because nobody is really able to get a foothold anywhere, really. They have the potential to make one of the best shows ever made. Again, for a fourth time. For a fourth time. Or fifth, or sixth. Just give us all of them.
Right.
Okay. Let's catch up with chat real quick. But Third Eye, great idea. Simple idea, of course, but it expands so well within the world and lore that there is, and it's just fun to run with, man. Okay, Spin saying SGU crew travels years and years, and finally within the reach of the Signal Destiny ship undergoes major malfunction and can't avoid hitting an asteroid, and Destiny blows up.
That's what I was saying. Simple way. You want to do the boring, mundane. They crash into something, and that's it. Okay, we know what happened. Moving on.
That's depressing. That just made me. I was like, okay, we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. I gotta step away for a second. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Matt's a Vaporeon at the moment. Welcome to Pokemon.
I'm still here. I'm just not on screen.
What if the Nox half ascended? They almost feel kind of half ascended in a way already, don't they? Just the way they revere everything, and they're almost like semi-magical beings,
Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me if they did have some sort of ascension.
it would almost make sense if the Nox were okay. Riddle me this: what if the Nox are all already half ascended, like the Ori are? What if essentially they are the Ori of our universe, but definitely or our galaxy, excuse me, and they I guess they take the more ancient approach because that's the other ascended beings in our universe or our galaxy again. So they are almost bound to the ancients' rules compared to what the Ori were doing. Maybe the Nox wanted to help, but they've gotten to the point where, okay, our species and our culture is to not help, is to kind of stay back and let you deal with it. That could be really cool.
Yeah.
Again, they easily have like one of the a fourth time one of the best shows ever made if they would just want to make it, you know. Okay, Spin. How do you know if they didn't have fabricators in Atlantis? They only explored a tiny portion of the city up to this point. Hey, that's true too.
Yeah, we don't know for a fact, but we never saw them, so I can only go on that fact.
Yeah. We're just basing on, I guess, going on the assumptions of the things that we already know. But then again, we do know that we don't know much, and the ancients left a lot out there for the old human beings to find. Old ships in real life.
Anything at all? It's that I know nothing.
Yes. Isn't that Albert Einstein or somebody around him?
Someone like that, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's Einstein, which I like. You know, that's a great quote. We were just saying, real quick, we'll catch you up. What if the Nox half ascended? What if they already are? You know, and maybe that's why they're so pacifist, and they kind of like sit with the rules of the ancients in our galaxy instead of like Ori rules. Maybe the Nox are the Ori for our galaxy. Kind of a thought, real quick.
I like the idea of maybe they're like ascended beings that didn't like the attitude that they ascend, you know, like they didn't like the rules or the way they did things, so they kind of, I don't know, unascended, but yet somehow still kept the knowledge or something. I don't know how it exactly.
It would explain like the magic juju stuff they can do.
Yeah, because they seem very kind of, you know, like hippie ancients. Because, you know,
kind of fun, you know.
You know, with the moss hair and everything, you know. Anyway,
turn me into a Nox if we don't do a wraith. I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you know they didn't?
You look a lot like a wraith that works. You could do wraith, like really.
It would be fun. That would be the most fun wheelhouse just to play in for a little bit. Like, that'd be a joy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this was cool too. That I guess technically we don't know if they had fabricators in Atlantis because we don't really know the rest of Atlantis. You know.
Yeah. That's a whole nother thing of like, you know, what's on the Destiny that we don't even know is on there, what's in the city of Atlantis that we don't even know is there yet. Because, you know, like Daniel found that one lab. You know, what if there's like 10 of those labs there and they just haven't found them, you know?
And that's just this one side of the city, really. Yeah.
It's just a hidden room, and that's where all the ZPMs get made.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Here's our ZPM storage closet back here. You know?
Yeah, like, there were 15,000 of them all along.
Yeah. Oh. Exactly.
Well, like we talked about in SGA a couple weeks ago, is they still have, I don't know the right way to call it, so I'm going to just call it Camelot, but they have that other Atlantis.
Right.
I don't think that over more, you know?
Yeah, would they be able to unbury it and fly it or whatever, you know? Or they said they burned out that star drive. Maybe the star drive in that one is still good.
Hey, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but old ships in real life had a forge to fabricate parts. It would totally make sense for the Destiny to have it, and for Atlantis to have it as well. We just probably haven't found that part of the city yet, you know?
Right.
Destiny is alone, traveling through galaxies. It would need some way of manufacturing the parts. The crew mine it from planets and refine them. Destiny. Totally. That makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Shouldn't Daniel Jackson have all the answers when he ascended? But
Yeah, but
They
he
took
couldn't
that
tell.
knowledge away from him. But he does remember things conveniently sometimes. Yeah.
That would be one of those answers where
Mhm.
do you ever see the Matt? You would know it better than I guess we would. I just
Mhm.
kind of I know all the comedians that do it, and I'm just kind of discovering it. But the actually show,
The
you know that
what?
one? Actually,
No.
oh, it's good. It's a lot. It's a kind of a. I guess it's not as that's not the one I'm thinking of. That's super
Is
British.
it
What's the one I'm
British?
thinking of? Actually is kind of like a nerdy thing. I'm
Yeah.
sure some of the audience in there probably recognize it. But it's like just a nerd kind of trivia thing where it's like a big game that is hosted and they have a bunch of like fun panelists, and the panelists are supposed to go actually, and and kind of like get into like some like nerdy lore of something like that, and you're supposed to be correcting the trivia question kind of deal, and who gets it
Right.
right. Cool little thing. What's the one that Jimmy Carr hosts with Richard Iota's on there all the time, Noel Fielding's on there all the time?
No idea.
That's what I was thinking of at first.
Cats does countdown.
Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, it was
He does
totally
8 out of 10 cats, and then they got Cats does countdown. That's the last thing I've ever seen him do. But I don't know. And he does
I don't
Big
know.
Fat Quiz of the Year.
That's it. It's like the quiz thing that he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's not what I was thinking of. I was thinking of something else, but I found that show through watching the actually stuff, I guess.
Yeah,
but
Big Fat Quiz of the Year is good. That's just an annual thing they do at the end of every year.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, because I couldn't really find a whole bunch on it, but everything that I saw was funny as hell. Richard Iota doing his deeper voices, hilarious. Excuse me. I'm dying over here.
Don't do
But yes,
that.
Daniel Jackson. Well, as long as I ascend, I'm okay. But I have to get a little more in tune with some spiritual stuff, I think, for that one. Daniel Jackson should have all the answers, but he can't because they stripped him of the memories.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's convenient for him to remember a little something.
Yeah.
Isn't the Lucian Alliance in SGU the same as SG1? Yes.
Yeah.
Good old character building and world building, as they say. Destiny was heading to the edge of the universe as the structure was beyond the background radiation, which was there before the Big Bang. That's right. It was before the Big Bang. The back. Yep.
Right.
Yep. Okay. What if
It's the point
Destiny
at which the Big Bang emanated from?
The what?
The point at which the Big Bang emanated from.
Yes. Which is just
It was
such a
signs of intelligent life creating the universe, essentially.
What if Destiny ran into Moya from Farscape, like what the Farbot is going on here? Or Andromeda. Remember the bad guy Asgard and Atlantis got away? Don't forget they're still out there. Maybe they try to retake it also. Yeah, but the Veneer have their own planet and
right.
Pegasus, don't they? And they're just kind of biding their time or something.
Right.
They were isolationists because of the Wraith threat, but they're not really a threat as much as they were. That's why they showed themselves. So they could have potentially just ventured out a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember our not theory, but our idea about the Veneer and the Genii that we were talking about with the SGA stuff, Sarah?
Trying to remember. I know I remember us going on this long thing, but I don't remember.
After we do the best and worst aspect, we're just
teamed up or something? Or
yeah, we were thinking maybe because Atlantis is out of Pegasus,
right?
That the Wraith are definitely a big problem again. The largest, I guess, populace of people that are probably the most well equipped to fight against the Wraith would be the Genii.
Right.
So who would they team up with naturally? The Veneer, because the Veneer don't want the Wraith to become a bigger threat either.
Right.
So do you like the idea, Matt, of the Veneer and the Genii teaming up to kind of keep the Pegasus galaxy safe while Atlantis and Stargate teams aren't there to help out?
So they essentially become the Tower of the Pegasus galaxy.
Yeah. So whenever we go
which
back,
they should have done to begin with, to be honest, because they were on track to be that.
Totally.
And we just came in and be like, no, we've done this before. Sit down.
Yeah. What were they? 60 years behind in tech, really, and not that much further behind realistically than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like 1940s, like nuclear bomb was new or whatever, right? Yeah.
Because they were wanting to drop some nukes. They were ready to Hiroshima some stuff real quick, which I guess when you grow up in a world with the Wraith, can't truly blame them, but also people are trying to help.
Right. Wasn't Jonas's like homeworld about on the same level as the Janai, or were they more?
They almost feel like a proto Janai in a lot of ways too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, they were slightly behind what we were. They had the equivalent of the atom bomb, wasn't it? And
yeah,
that's the
because I think they already had
that killed Daniel the first time.
Yeah. What were their people called again? Because the Tolan and Ashen were different, or Ashin were different.
I wonder.
I can't.
Jonas Quinn was. Oh fuck. I don't know. I do know. It's in my head somewhere.
I'm typing on Google as fast as I can. The Langarans. There, that's right. Langara.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So Anthony's saying they could also have Asgard New Generation ship off and use group turn ship, and they help repair their ship. Oh, for the Destiny? I don't know. They could, but I don't know if the Asgard ship are even that powerful. I think we've kind of established that they weren't, or they established they weren't is the easier way to say that. Because the Asgard are totally powerful, but they weren't really using Stargates a whole bunch either, I don't think. I don't know if their technology is...
The Asgard didn't really use gates. They did a bit, but they had ships, didn't they? And they were just way more convenient.
They just beam you down or beam you up, yeah.
Yeah. They could literally travel between galaxies in a matter of hours.
Right.
So they could definitely get there faster. But then again, there aren't any Asgard to get there faster anymore.
I mean, the fastest ship that existed was the O'Neill, and that got destroyed.
Yeah. Such a cool ship. Such a cool ship. So cool. Remember the bad guy Asgards in Atlantis got away? Don't forget they're still out there. Yeah, the Vineyard. Maybe they tried to retake the Destiny also. Yeah, but still probably just a little too far.
Yeah.
The Descendants were interstellar capable. Okay. From SGU, those Descendants.
SGU, yeah. They didn't have FTL, they said, because it was going to be like hundreds of years. So does that mean those Descendants that were with SGU, they dropped them off on a planet that the Descendants that are still traveling by ship are going to eventually get to? Is that what happened? Anyway.
Yeah, because they were in like a kind of stasis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 Because it was going to take a few hundred years for them to get to the new... They know what planet they're going to, but it's going to be like a couple hundred years till they get there or something. But I thought the people that were with Destiny, that they found, the Descendants that were on the Destiny, I thought they got dropped off on that planet, knowing that the other ships will be arriving there eventually.
Yeah.
Give them a bit of a
that
head
would make
start.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they were interstellar capable, just not super fancy interstellar capable.
Right. Yeah.
They're essentially the kind of technology that we've got now. We could essentially do that now.
Right.
Really, like if SpaceX or whatever decided they're going to colonize a planet, it would take hundreds of years. We don't have like sleeper pods or whatever, so we'd have to have people that live on them. But that kind of technology.
Right. So it would be like the third generation or whatever would actually be the ones that get there, which is kind of wild to think about.
Yeah.
There'd be a middle generation that totally lived on a ship their whole lives.
Yeah.
And never do anything else.
And you hope that generation doesn't destroy the ship.
It's like the Expanse, isn't it?
Yeah.
People that just live on the ship their entire lives. And they'd have like weird like gravity like deprivation or whatever it is that they have if they come down to Earth.
Yeah, the belters. Yeah.
Yeah.
And during that process, you want those people from that middle generation or whatever it is, instead of like the belters almost becoming belters and saying, you know what, we were born in space, we'll live in space, this is the way we do it.
Right.
Instead of trying to take that longevity approach, which would be hard, especially being raised inside of just confined walls like that, where longevity isn't something you really think about. Everything's such a present moment kind of thing, where do they have the thought process to keep that next generation alive, or would they even want to allow the next generation to flourish if they know they're going to die and that next generation is going to be, oh, we're doing this for nothing, we're doing this for not really,
well, just for survival of humanity or whatever, I guess. But
how important is it, how important would that be to a group of people that have only ever known one small thing? It's just such an interesting thing.
It'd be based on the education that they get, though, wouldn't it? Because if you're in essentially Stockholm syndrome, you're trapped on a ship. That's all you know, but you have a mission, and the mission is we're eventually going somewhere. Kind of like religion. Like we're, for all intents and purposes, stuck on this planet now, but many people believe that when we die, we're going to a better place, and that'd be what they believe. And their promised land is just happens to be a planet.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there would have to be a whole culture built around like this mission, and everyone would have to buy into it. And so you'd have to have the, I don't know if propaganda is the right word, but you'd have to be constantly, the next generation, you'd have to be like really instilling in them from children, like this is why we're doing this, and it's important, and it's survival of humanity, or it's the humans' curiosity or whatever, and we're sacrificing ourselves for the good of people down the road or whatever.
Yeah. But okay, so the reason I guess I'm kind of not getting hung up on, but I'm thinking about that middle generation is this movie is essentially that. Voyagers right here was not a great movie, had a really good cast, just not everybody's best day at the office. But essentially that a group of teenage astronauts sent on a multi-generational mission in the year 2063 to colonize a habitable exoplanet amidst runaway climate change. That's the kind of synopsis of it. But that kind of happens where, hey, they're a group of kids really that are not running the ship at a certain point, but they're the ones that are they're the generation that's alive and active on this ship. And okay, what do we believe? And I guess they start to realize not everything they have been told is 100% true, because they want to keep them kind of quiet, kind of mundane, so they don't get all agitated and want to take over the ship and change course, change plans, whatever it may be. And I think
there's politics involved in it, and they start realizing things, and they start getting their own political opinions.
Not the best movie in the world, but a good one to watch for this concept, I think. And they would be having to deal with a similar thing in a big way.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you would have to like have children and have a certain number of children, and gene pool and all that stuff.
Are you marrying for love, or are you marrying?
Yeehaw, Tony! You've not had any children yet. You need to have yourself a child. You need to have yourself a boy child and a female child, and those children they need to procreate. You are the future. You are the future, Tony.
I like that American accent. That was fun. Oh, almost as fun as the TARDIS landing on the Destiny and the Doctor finds a way to help them out. The answer's that obvious.
Right.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, yeah.
How? It would be a way Tok'ra to acquire the queen.
Oh my god. Yeah, the planet builders are the descendants, because they already know about ascension, and there was a split in the group that was like, yeah, we love ascension, we're going to try to ascend. And they went down the philosophical path of ascension rather than the knowledge path. And they did it basically like a monk, like The monk one. I don't know what he was called, but
The little boy before Amidala, right?
yeah.
Hmm.
They just do that, and they ascend, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're going to build a planet now." it all comes back to ascension, doesn't it?
It's a big circle, like a Stargate.
Like a Stargate, exactly.
I'll say the old Star Wars quote right here, but it's like poetry. It rhymes. You know? I like it. Okay. Alex is saying, anyone else worried if they do a new series and only 8 episodes, it's going to be a lot of exposition? Yes.
I am not worried about that because I don't know what that means.
Exposition is whenever, well, there's a lot of exposition in Stargate, but they do it in a fun way because they're involving you within like the science aspect of it. But exposition is telling and not showing. Where Stargate does it well is they're totally going to tell you like the concept and the aspect of what's going on while they're doing what is actually going on, kind of deal. Versus like one of those shows that's like, oh, Monarch was awful about it, when it's like, let's just sit down in a room and talk for 40 minutes about this in an episode instead of just, hey, go out in the world and do something. And then like, you can explain that while you're walking through the street, you know, like there's a way to do exposition and keep it within the world.
Make it interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. I would be worried with 8 episodes and exposition as well. But then again, there was a lot of exposition in 22 to 24 episodes. So I don't know, find the sweet spot for the story they're trying to tell and give us a good story.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Because there has to be a time where the Goa'uld were reasonable. We're told in SG1 it's the use of the sarcophagus that makes them crazy. This is why it's open to use it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah, that's a good point. Mm-hmm. It messes with your head. Because that happened to Daniel when he only used it a handful of times.
Right.
Yeah. Where were ZPMs made and powered and repowered? Atlantis, Camelot, I guess Earth. A little bit everywhere there were ancients, but we just don't know how they did it yet.
Yeah.
They used the power of ascension.
Ooh. I mean, there's got to be some kind of energy type of flow, some corporeal flow of something like.
What it's if essentially a pocket universe, isn't it?
Huh?
I'm trying to think of the science of ZPM. Isn't it a pocket universe? Like it's 0-point energy, which is the power of an entire universe.
I thought it was a singularity or something. I don't remember. I could be thinking of something totally not Stargate at all. I don't know, but
I don't know.
0-point module, right? Yeah.
0-point module. Yeah. I don't know. I thought it was something like it's basically a pocket universe. So is it the case that they essentially just sacrifice loads of random universes and put them in a bottle?
Or something that has like the essence of a universe, or something that would have like the energy or power of it, maybe like an ancient. What if ZPMs are just a bunch of dead ancients? Or like, I don't know. You got to recharge that thing somehow, you know?
Just give your life.
Maybe it is. Maybe that ZPMs are the pocket universe where ancients live. I don't know. They just peek out through them like little mirrors or windows.
If you look carefully at the bottom of a ZPM, you can see it says "Made in China."
A couple of ancients just eating food down there.
ZPM draws energy from contained subspace. Yes. So that's a pocket of. Is it a pocket of subspace in our universe or a different?
It would be a pocket dimension, right? And that could come from any dimension.
Because they did an experiment, didn't they, where they could draw 0-point energy from an alternate reality, and that's what the weird what do they call it? The Miller-Carter Bridge, I think they called it. And that's when the alternate version of Rodney came through, and he was really cool, and they called him Rod.
Yeah.
Because they were essentially destroying their universe by taking these, like, I don't know, X particles or whatever the hell they called it. I can't remember the actual thing they called it.
Right. I kind of vaguely remember that episode.
And that's the basis of what a ZPM was, I think.
Sounds right. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Again, I'm not really that.
I love that episode. I just don't know the science of it necessarily, you know, because it is great.
There is no science. It's science fiction. The science is whatever you want it to be because we made it up.
That's true. Thankfully, they did it based off of some interesting stuff, though. So it's cool concepts.
Mm-hmm.
Was it not set up that Daniel still has the knowledge of being ascended? He just can't access it.
Yeah, I
that's
think that
probably
was
more
it,
like it. Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if he went through enough hypnotherapy, he could eventually just have all the knowledge of the universe.
Put Daniel Jackson in chemo, and he's Anubis. He's half ascended again.
Yeah. Half ascended Daniel.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of interesting, but.
Well, we essentially got that with him as an Ori for a moment, didn't we?
He was only a prior.
Yeah, he was just a prior for a moment.
Yeah.
And he was only a prior because of the help from Merlin being in his brain to repress the change being full. Like they didn't take over his mind because Merlin protected him.
Right.
Or mirrored in.
Mm-hmm.
Mirrored him, yeah. Huh. This was funny though. Har as they say. Half come and descend and half come back to Earth. Oh, half descend and half come back to Earth. That'd be weird. That'd be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
One really interesting creator's idea has been so long. Everyone, original parents, etc. I guess other than Matthew Scott Kidd on Earth.
What?
Sorry, Mean-Ales. That one, I don't have the brain power. We're 223 into this one. We're just catching up at this point. Jonas' homeworld seemed like our 1940s. Yeah,
that's what I was saying. Yeah.
Langara. What if Felger from the other guy's episodes comes up with another plan, takes the time travel puddle jumper to the Destiny, and he and Rodney McKay get stuck with Eli? LOL. That would be a fun episode to bring them back in a way.
Isn't Felger the one who come up with the Avengers virus?
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
No, that's Dr. Lee, isn't it?
Is it?
Uh-huh, because Felger's only in a couple episodes. Dr. Lee would be the one that we would want, because he's kind of like...
I think it was Felger that wrote that program, though. I think.
Okay.
Wait, Felger's the guy who's basically like the guy from Dumb and Dumber, isn't he?
A little bit.
He looks like him and acts like him, but he's
a little
smart.
Jeff Daniels-ish, yeah.
Yeah.
Chocolate and the Star Trek guy who Felger argued with. Then we find out Eli is a Firefly fan. Oh, I can't speak. That'd be funny. And he brings the altar of Roddenberry with him. It's a little bit of everything. Stargate Multiverse. If you look carefully at the bottom of the ZPN, you can see it says Made in China. There we go.
Matt said that earlier. Yeah.
ZPM draws energy from contained subspace. Okay.
All science is fiction until proven. That is very true.
Very true. That's the damn truth. I have a great quote somewhere. I guess it's not hung up right in front of me like I used to think it was. But it's essentially that. All science is fiction until proven.
I like the quote that any sufficiently advanced technology will be indistinguishable from magic.
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite.
That's a really good quote.
That's my favorite quote.
Yeah. You're making me want to find this one now. That's right. It's Ray Bradbury. It's anything you dream is fiction. Anything you accomplish is science. The whole history of mankind is nothing but science fiction. I like that.
Yeah.
And we got R, I think is the last one that we haven't caught up with. As I saw a clip from one of the other Stargate YouTube channel fans that showed what would have been Atlanta's season 6 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
One of them finding a ZPM factory, which would have been handy. As handy as you could ask.
I made a video on what would have been season 6. I don't know if I did it on Sidetrack or if I did it on my channel. I'm pretty sure I did it on Sidetrack. It might still be up somewhere. But
I think so.
Was,
I think I remember that.
Joseph Malozzi just posted a load of like he had a whole day or a whole week where he was just posting like, oh, this would have happened in season 6, and some of them were pretty cool. There was one of them. One of them was like a not time travel, but like a parallel universe kind of thing, which sounded quite cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know the ship from the the Daedalus variations, where they kept jumping between realities.
Mm-hmm.
There was a ship attacking Atlantis that was going to come.
Yeah, it was
through,
those
I think that's what it was.
Big buff gray aliens, right? With like the red eyes and almost looked like
Yeah, we were gonna meet
like
them in the real universe. Yeah, something like that.
Because there
were some pretty cool ideas.
He was really cool. Yeah, and you totally said Joseph Malozzi. I think it was him that I responded to the tweet with the Wraith hands. I think he posted the stuff, not Robert C. Cooper. I don't know if Robert C. Cooper is on Twitter.
I don't know. Yeah, Joseph Malozzi posts a lot on Twitter. Well,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't really look at Twitter anymore. But
no, he definitely still does. But yeah, Melvin was.
Brad Wright still follows me though.
Hey, tell him to follow the new sidetrack stuff and say howdy real quick for us. Say, hey,
Should I tweet him now and tell him to come in?
You know?
Yo, Brad, remember me? You told me to shut up?
Shut up, yeah. Real quick. That was great. We need that soundbite. Where do we get that soundbite from Jamie? We need to put that soundbite back in here.
Is it not in? Oh, I can't.
Yeah, because we got the different StreamYards and all that now.
Oh, so it's not. It'll be on Jay's. For God's sake, why do you keep calling him Jamie?
Well, because one of my good buds from like The Blind Side and Hancock. One of my good friends is named Jay. So every time I say Jay, I think of The Blind Side pops into my head. Little football boy, Right. So I go Jamie.
Yeah, if he's still got access to his old StreamYard, it'll be on there. You could download it. Yeah. I mean, I might have a clip of it somewhere, but I don't know. It popped up in my Facebook memories the other day because I posted on it. It was about a year. Was it a year ago?
Yeah, it was pretty much exactly like a year ago that they did that on the companion thing. But the companions like totally changed their focus now. So
what do they do?
Yeah, it's really mental health, I think, focus now. Or they're doing Amanda Tapping wrote a book, and I guess I don't exactly understand it, I guess.
They're working on the book right now, and it's her, and I think they're putting in I think they're going to put in stories from people because it's like mental health as a fandom and how I don't know, being a fan of whatever the community has helped people with their mental health issues and things like that, I think, or along those lines. Anyway.
That sounds cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a very big advocate for mental health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It's good to see them doing stuff about it. It's a little odd, I guess, because it's not odd in a bad way. It's just odd to keep up with the channel. It's hard to, I guess, decipher exactly what's going on over there sometimes.
So is that bloke still working there? The bloke who got us the interview?
Who?
What was his name?
Tommy, I think. I'm not sure.
Tommy, yeah, he's from
Companion guy.
No, there was another guy. So there is Tommy. He's from a town very close to where I'm from.
Right.
Lawrence, England.
But he's
Lawrence. Yes, Lawrence.
Yeah. Okay.
Is he still about?
I think so. I think he's doesn't he kind of lead the companion? Isn't he kind of the head on?
Yeah,
more background.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, he lives in I don't know. He lives in England, but he's he's an American, but he lives in the UK.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember when we had the meeting with him, and it was 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and he's like, "Oh yeah, it's 8 o'clock," and I was like, "Hang on, you're American? How's it 8 o'clock?" He went, "Oh yeah, no, I live in blah blah blah." I think he said London. Like, fair enough.
Yeah, no, I just don't know how to. I guess keep up with the companion now. I love it. Every time I see something, I tend to just watch it for a little bit. But yeah, I'd love to get sidetracked, maybe doing some companion stuff. We'll talk to Jamie and maybe message Lawrence or something like that. That might be fun.
I've still got him as a contact, so I mean, I can He's on the Discord, and you've got admin on Discord, haven't you? So
Oh yeah. I still don't understand how to use Discord at all. But Chaz and I were talking about doing like some office hours from us on Discord, maybe during the week at some time, where any of us can hop on and just talk, and then also maybe doing that, of course, with the community, have like office hours during the week a little bit with the community and do that, because you and Chaz, Matt, y'all are our Discord guys, because that goes right over my head. But I know it's a really cool and useful thing. I just don't get it.
it is. It's essential at its core. It's just a communication platform, but you can turn it into like a hub for the community. That was my original plan, but obviously it didn't.
Right.
Well, with old Chazwell around nowadays, you might talk to that man a little bit, because he's Chaz used to have like, I think he still has like 300,000 followers on TikTok, 275,000, something like that. But like he used to have a couple of different focuses kind of deal, and would utilize Discord, and like people could change the lights in his background for him or something if they donated it or something like that. I don't know. There's all kinds of little cool things.
That kind of stuff is pretty easy. I did make a bot for Discord for Star Trek. I don't think it's running now, but I still got it somewhere.
Yeah. That might just be some fun stuff to talk about, and we can talk about this after stream as well. It's just fun to bring it up, and hopefully, if that sounds fun for y'all in the community, to do some community things.
Do like some events and stuff, and you can even do live hangouts on the Discord.
Yeah.
Like they're called stages, so they're essentially private shows.
That's kind of, I think, what Chaz was talking about, like for an office hours. Obviously, the ones for us, so we can discuss what we're trying to do like each week, and for us, and figure out plans and stuff. But with the community, just hanging out as well, talking Stargate for a little bit, talking Star Trek, Star Wars.
Yeah, that'd be awesome to be able to.
Yeah. Well, it's still there. It's all still set up. So.
Yeah, we should do it. Now that this is out there in the world on a live, y'all holler at us and keep to it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay, real quick, we got just a couple more. Norm said Eli finds that the refueling in a star was the backup to the depleted ZPM.
I want to find
that'd be interesting. SGC, Neo Go. I think that's trying to make me say a word that I'm not going to try to say. But this dude's always hanging out. Love the dude. SGC really should have investigated Destiny's star fuel collector system. Could have been a game changer for non-ZPM ships.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, in a big way.
But yeah, so like, did they download? Well, I guess they wouldn't be able to do it. I was going to say, would they be able to get the database from the Destiny back to the SGC? But I don't.
With an Icarus,
it would have been like through the communication stones, which means it would just have to be a person telling, or somebody.
Well, that means somebody would have to memorize it first.
Talking about it, yeah.
Come and join it, everyone.
Neo, I've got it. That's perfect. Gotcha. Oh, and check out the Discord, y'all. But yeah, what else are we thinking before we hop out of here,
y'all? What time are we going to start with the charity stream? I guess
that's a good thing. Should we start a little bit earlier?
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
We'll post that for everybody on the community or whatever when we're going to do it. Or
I mean, we can try to decide real quick while we have everybody here, and they can think alongside us. CPMs are all backward compatible because of Destiny's being earliest. Hey, honestly, that would make total sense. Them being backwards compatible like that. And especially Destiny being beforehand. Yeah. But, okay. So SG1 is going to be a long stream.
Yeah. I think that's 12 hours or something. I think we had picked a couple double episodes.
Mm-hmm. And what, 42, 44 minutes apiece?
12 hours.
Well, I got the list in my scribbly notes right here. But anyway.
It's going to be a long one. But it's going to be fun. Good charity stream. I have 2 or 3 different charities that might be fun to pick towards. If y'all have any, community chat, everybody. Y'all holler at us, DM us, or put it in our community notes on the page itself, on the community page for the channel. Who or what organization, if there's maybe somebody that's a good organization down there in Florida, North Carolina region right now for hurricane stuff, that would be a good thing.
Oh yeah, that would be a good.
That'd be really good. Because there was some people at Comic-Con that ran a foundation that I'd said would be a really good. I need to remember which one it was and go in my notes. But that might be a good one for one of those streams. But I think that first one, SG1, for that long one, it'd be a good stream to do for Florida and North Carolina, all the hurricane victims and everything that's going on right now. I guess victims isn't necessarily the right term for a nature thing, but everybody that's been troubled by this natural disaster.
Yeah, it's been affected, which is a lot of people.
Been affected. There we go. Matthew, quick question. What do you think the new Doctor Who spinoff is going to be like?
What Doctor Who spinoff?
Oh, you didn't know they're doing one?
No.
I didn't either. I'm like, this is news to me.
I am very out of touch with absolutely everything. I've been, for the last year, focusing solely on Daisy, running a server.
Well, let us get your thoughts on this real quick then, while we are here. The BBC and Disney Plus are producing a new Doctor Who spin-off series called The War Between the Land and the Sea. The 5-part series will star Russell Tovey, Gugu Mbatha-Raw, Gemma Redgrave.
I did see this. Isn't it the Sea Devils?
I guess.
Yeah, I suppose that sounds cool.
Yeah, it says currently in the new era, considered a soft reboot.
It doesn't grab me, really. Sea Devils are kind of a bit of a meh.
Yeah.
Okay. So War Between the Land and Sea.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's probably Sea Devils, isn't it? I mean, it's Doctor Who, isn't it? If the spin-offs historically have been pretty good. I liked Torchwood. I loved Torchwood.
Oh, I did too. The early seasons. The later it wasn't as good, but yeah, I really loved the early seasons of that.
Yeah, that's the guy from Arrow, Malcolm something, right?
The guy from Arrow, Malcolm Merlin? That's John Barrowman.
John Barrowman. Yeah, he's Torchwood, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't know.
Are you gonna check it out? Probably.
I'll have to. Yeah, I'll check it out definitely. I'll watch everything with Doctor Who. It doesn't matter. Like, I'll stick with it because it's Doctor Who. It's been a part of my life since I was like, how old was I in 2005? I don't know, like 13, 12, something like that. It's literally like the biggest part of my life.
Y'all are resident Whovians.
I think I've been watching Doctor Who longer than I've been watching Stargate, but I know more about Stargate than I do about Doctor Who just because I've seen every episode of Stargate. I haven't watched every episode of Doctor Who. I think
you're not going to go back and watch all the old radio episodes and all the old episodes.
Probably not. No.
Well, you don't need to. You really don't.
No, I have watched like a few. They're all right, but meh.
Yeah.
That's my journey.
It was New Who that got me into it. So watching the classic is always a bit like, well, I'm used to this, and they have like semi-decent like VFX, and then now they're running around in plastic bin bags.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, well, this is not very good, is it?
They didn't have a huge budget back in the day. Well, of course, there wasn't CGI and all that either. So,
but saying that, there's a show called Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
And Red Dwarf was always on a shoestring budget, and the sets are very flimsy and stuff. And then when they started getting a bit of money, it ended up getting worse. And I don't really like them. I like the ones with the worst kind of budgets, because that's what I was used to. Right. So yeah, it's just a bit of a.
But that's also a comedy, right? Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
That's Stormy's always clamoring for us to watch that, and I need to.
It's very good. It's very good.
Red Dwarf over Doctor Who, James Fletcher says.
I gotta watch it.
They're two
Where
very
can you-
different shows. You can't
Is
put them
there
in the same
this-
category. Doctor Who is more of I can't really call it serious now because they started doing fantasy, but it was more it was more of a serious like sci-fi. Red Dwarf was always just what if, and then they just did the funniest parts of sci-fi.
Oh, that's fun. That's actually fun. Just taking the concepts and kind of rolling with it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. What were you saying, Sarah?
where I could watch Red Dwarf because I do want to see it. I think my husband would really like that too.
It says
If you can get
Prime
BritBox,
Video.
I think it's on there. I don't know if you can get BritBox in the US, but
BritBox, yeah, I don't have that.
BritBox, Roku, Fubo, Sling. Sling is free.
Oh,
and
okay.
then Prime Video with premium subscription.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I'll bring that up real quick.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah. So this kind of like.
Oh, it's on Prime. Okay.
Hmm.
I got that. I pretty much have
it's
every
great.
streaming
It is very
service.
good.
Ridiculous.
It starts getting a bit. When did I stop liking it? I think there's a season, maybe like season 4, 5, 6, something like that. I don't know. Where essentially the crew of Red Dwarf come back, and that's when I started not really enjoying it much. I'm not going to go into it. You'll understand why if you start watching it. But they are essentially the whole premise of the show is they are alone on the ship, and then all of a sudden everyone's back on the ship, and it is still fun.
It's something we're just talking about.
I was about to say, is this like fun SGU? Like,
yeah, essentially,
like it.
the whole premise of the show is Dave, the main human, I guess, is put into stasis. He has a cat. The cat eventually evolves and has cat people. Everyone on the ship dies, including Rimmer, but he comes back as a hologram, and then eventually they find a robot called Crichton as well, and he's the fourth member. But the cat is like the best character. Danny John Jules is amazing.
Anyway.
I don't think I've had a joint today, but I'm questioning it after that.
It's honestly, like, I know I've just explained it, and I probably explained it really badly, but it's probably weirder than I've explained it.
Well, that explanation made me want to watch it like right now. Like it sounds weird and fun and cool.
It is. It's really fun.
Okay.
It sounds very British comedy, which I like that stuff. So
I agree. I'm with you.
It's very dry, very. It's just fun. It's just every like good part of sci-fi, and they have fun with it.
That's cool. That's worth the watch.
Right,
I think
I'll
you've
be back
convinced
in a moment.
Stormy's going to be pissed off that you convinced us to watch it in like 4 minutes out of like the last 3.5, 4 years. Stormy's
but that's because you needed a British person to tell you because it's a British.
There we
show.
go. There we go.
Right back.
We got the fancy resident rocket scientist version of it, and we're like, so it's what? Huh? And we needed the succinct Brit version of it real quick, and now we're in. Star Hunter, that's another one I haven't ever watched, but I've always
never heard of that one. So I'm now like making all these notes of like I need to check out this channel and do this or that, and
after an episode, sometimes just doing these, my notes in front of me, I'm just like, what am I supposed to do again? How many of these things I need to watch?
I did start watching Rebel Moon, but I only saw like just the intro scene up until the opening credit starts, because then I had to go somewhere. And I wanted to finish watching it last night, but I didn't get a chance to.
Did you? Was it the directors or the?
Yes, I watched the director's cut. So I just saw the opening scene up until the the title credit comes on. So just and it's like. It seems like a lot of things. It's like it seemed like sort of like Third Reich meets Roman Empire meets feudal Japan or something.
Yeah,
with some Star Wars mixed in.
Yeah,
and it was a little gratuitous with like there was some nudity that I didn't think needed to be there, and then just the brutality of like
It's the epitome of gratuitous.
I guess I don't know how much we want to get into talking about it. But anyway, I gotta go in about 20 minutes anyway. So, but
yeah. Well, you know what? We're at 2:45. That might be. Is that the longest you've ever done so far, Sarah?
I think so. Yeah, but I'm doing all right.
Oh yeah, no, it's great. Well, I mean,
physically anyway. I don't know how I'm actually doing. But
you're doing just fine, I'd say.
How are any of us doing?
The chat.
Well, I guess there's 32,000 people that think we're doing something right. So hey.
It's kind of fun. That's a good place to stop right here. Right here. Okay. Okay, James has said it for us.
That's a good place to stop. James has just said, go away.
I think we've got a field of best and worst of SGU, which we thought, what are we going to talk about? There's only 2 seasons. Well, here we are. It's like the longest one.
Dang, I just got here too. I know. We're almost at 3 hours though.
Oh, there's always one in there. There's always one.
I like it. I have spoken. That's the way to do it. But
we all have spoken a lot. Anyway.
Scroll that thing back and watch from the beginning, because the beginning's actually like, of course, we're having fun hanging out at this point, but that's where you get to the nitty gritty aspect of it all, you know. Yeah. And what else he said? He said something about Torchwood real quick. I'm shocked there hasn't been an American version of Doctor Who, or at least a Torchwood spinoff.
Huh. Torchwood was good, but kind of
no, they can't do that because every time, like, no offense, but every time the Americans make a remake of a British show, it's terrible.
I agree. What was that one with David Tennant that was about a murder mystery thing? Broadchurch. But then they did an American version of it with him, which was weird, and it sucked. It wasn't as good.
Yeah, they did it with the IT crowd. They've done it with the In-Betweeners. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And OG IT crowds. The only one that's ever worked was The Office that I can think of.
Yeah, The Office is the only success, I think, but that's because Ricky Gervais had a massive hand in it.
Yeah, and literally said, "Hey, you're going to remake the first episode word for word," and then
and there's been like 20 different versions of that, different countries' languages and stuff. I don't know. There's been a bunch of different versions of
it. Yeah, American Top Gear is pretty good.
Agree with that,
but it's not.
I used to watch that back when it was. Yeah. I love that show.
Top Gear is amazing. My dad would whenever I was growing up.
The American Red Dwarf pilot. Oh my god!
Is that the one he was saying was on YouTube? Yeah,
they had Robert Llewellyn in it as well as Crichton, same character. Oh, it was. Oh no! Don't even get me started.
Yeah, Americans can't do British humor.
You can do humor though.
But you can do.
Your humor is good, but don't do your own humor. Your humor's fine. Just do your own.
Yeah.
Which I think is where The Office did well. Is like, okay, we're starting here, but we have to make it our own kind of deal, and they did well with that. Have they done British Werewolf in New York City? Werewolf in London. Werewolf in New York City.
Extra O there.
Wolf. I don't know if it turns more into a wolf or a wolf. I can't do it with my throat right now, one way or another.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oof. I still don't know. You're just making me make noises at this point. And the bad thing is, I'm far too willing just to make the noise that pops up on screen immediately. But okay, as James Fletcher said, that's a good place to stop.
Yes.
He has spoken. Just as I know, we just got a few more people in chat too. Sorry, y'all. Come back and hang out with us this Sunday. There may or may not be a. Wait, today's Wednesday. Okay, I was trying to figure out what day it was. Friday, we may do a Fallout podcast instead of next week because Greg is going to be on a plane coming back next week. So we may do the Radical Wasteland podcast this week.
Right.
But definitely not next week. It's either this Friday, which is kind of not likely, more likely to be in 3 weeks from now. But next week is now officially, according to Bethesda, Fallout Day on October 23rd, which is Wednesday. So you might get a Wednesday stream next week anyway to kind of make up for both Stargate Outpost and the Fallout and Radical Wasteland podcast. All in one. So yeah, come hang out with us there. Ooh, Gigwise like some Fallout. Come hang out, my dude. Come on. But this is the way. Vote for Petro Pascal. Yes. This is the way. I have spoken. The Mandalorian gives us the best stuff. But before we hop out of here, y'all have any goodbyes y'all want to say to anybody or any spiels?
No.
No.
Just glad y'all joined us today. Hope you're enjoying it.
Yes.
It was very nice
Always
to be back on here talking about Stargate.
It was great to have you back on, brother. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
I'm glad you and Sarah get to actually hang out a little bit now too, you know?
Right.
We seem to share
great.
the same opinions as well, which is great, because everything she was saying, I'm just like, yes, yes. Which is a nice change, because me and Jay used to clash.
Oh, she was taking the piss out of me and Jay on the very first one too. On SGA, I was like, oh God, my answers suck, and Sarah's just coming in here with all these great ones. I'd have some good reasoning, you know, behind my answers, but like, we're gonna go with Sarah's answer at the end of it for the most part. Because the reasoning was great.
Whenever we did an episode on Stargate Universe, Jay would be just like, I hate it, it's boring. And I'm just like, no, it's the best show ever. It's my favorite one.
Well, he gets so excited about talking about it too, which is hilarious. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
So say we all. Was a pun with Napoleon Dynamite. Vote for Pedro. Oh yeah, totally. But you know, we got to run with the Star Wars while we can. You know. But to bring it back to Stargate real quick, let me do a little. A little repetitive because we're totally going to do the outro here in a second. But, you know, if the Zach gun tells you to do it, you got to do it, you know?
Do we want to review what we picked real quick?
Yeah.
If I can find my notes.
Let's do a round off. Cap off.
All right. The best of season 1 was Incursion. I think we decided parts 1 and 2. Whatever.
Yes.
Yep.
The worst was Pain. Season 2, the best was, we decided on Twin Destinies, and the worst, Cloverdale.
Yeah.
As it should be for that one. That was hilarious. The gate is great, not the great is gate. The gate is great, or I super gate.
The great is gay, yeah. That should come on a t-shirt. The great is gay.
That'd be funny. All right, well, we're at 2:55 just about here. 2:54. By the time we're out of here, it's going to be 2:55 just about. So thank y'all. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We'll see y'all.
All right.
In peace. Or best thing, Jaffa Cree! We in streams like that now.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Any Stargate ones, anyway. Yeah.
I like it. All right. See y'all.